Let's watch this.
This is a submission by Itsumo
In this video, I
Knight.
will explain why VTubers and streamers in general even use Twitter, because we are all essentially
Too loud.
anime drug dealers peddling samples of virtual crack to people. The goal of a VTuber's Twitter account is to lure people into your live streams where you will hopefully convert them into hopeless addicts. But first, let's talk about where it all goes wrong. A lot of VTubers start their Twitter accounts with the right intention, end up being hopelessly addicted to the digital smack that other people are putting out. To put it simply, a lot of us come in with the intent of being content producers and end up being content consumers. It's fine. It's totally fine. Lots of fine things for stale today's.
Funny thing is, like, I never really like use YouTube that way. Not YouTube, like Twitter that way. I really make my Twitter account is mainly just for, you know, promote my stream and stuff. And nowadays I changed a little bit of a tactic. Like, at least, like, it seems like when I got stuffed. Oh, they can't open it in RAR. So I have to give it zip. Hold on a little bit. Yeah, speaking about this kind of things, I should actually finish my thumbnail and stuff. Okay. And I do have to do a little bit of thumbnail making too. Not for this one, it's for like some other things. Let's go and find. You know what? Actually, I should draw a Reaper wallpaper. That way it should be like much more funnier. It's not like it's a very like difficult thing to draw. Nah. Maybe next time. Because this is the first time I play, I don't really know like what kind of reference I can draw on the repo thing.
stranger. What are you buying? How to do it properly? Well, stay a while and listen. The third one is the most important. Skip to the third tip if you're short on time, please. Firstly, you should limit the amount of time that you use Twitter. In an ideal world, you would really only open up the app at all to upload content and then immediately peace the fuck out. Secondly, carefully curate the type of content that you release on Twitter. It would ideally be streaming adjacent. Clips of my best stream moments have worked
I assume these are scripted, but they're so fucking good in the way, like the metaphors that he gave, the jokes that he's made are
really
awesome.
Well, shitposts and memes can get really good engagement if you're clever, but they won't really lead people into your streams. Why?
Okay.
Content consumers are notoriously picky with the content that they consume. If the majority of your streamers signed up for shitposts, your transfer rate of Twitter followers to stream watchers will be very, very low. It's like watching a YouTube channel that started off doing makeup tutorials, attempt to pivot into destination travel content.
Right.
It's not even a slow bleed. Their views will literally drop off a cliff. It's bad. Third, try to make every piece of content that you make spark emotion. I think this is the key to making content that gets good engagement. An example, it's not enough to just be funny. You have to be outrageously funny in that the viewer thinks that it's both funny and that it'll piss someone off. Or cringe funny, you know? It's both funny and it reminds the viewer about something about themselves that's really embarrassing that they'd rather not acknowledge. And so on, you know, stuff like that. The road to mastering this piece of advice is to think like your target audience and give them what they want. Honestly, this right here might be the single most important piece of the puzzle to making great content across all platforms. Give your audience stimulating content that draws out really powerful emotions within them. Give it to them in digestible little 10 to 30 second bites with polished editing to smooth out the experience. A piece of content that successfully draws out emotions will get the follow. And then a follower that sees multiple tweets from you that stimulate them will check out your streams. Huh? I know. It's boring. It's not flashy. It won't get you overnight success. But what it will do is it will ensure steady growth. Your rate of converting.
I don't think that's boring at all, but I think it requires a good clippable moment, and it requires work to sift through your content and find those gems. I think the emotion part he spoke about is really important, which is why I think it goes against the term content creator. When you say content creator, it feels very much like a machine, like a business, but you're not in the business of just making stuff. You want to provide an experience and some kind of emotional engagement.
Twitter followers to stream watchers will improve dramatically. So, let's summarize in the most crass way possible. As a VTuber, think of Twitter as your corner where you sell crack. Give out tiny little samples to people that wander by. You want your product to be the good shit. Like 90% pure, undiluted Colombian dynamite. Get them high as fuck. Make them hungry for more. And then
Colombian dynamite mentioned.
Let them know that you're about to go live in 30 minutes. Tonight, you'll be eating 100 nuggets on stream for their entertainment.
What? Did he ever do a hand cam like this? There's no way, right? What is tools like JSON 2 video? Yeah, it requires consistency, and I mean it requires some dedication to that, just like with everything else. Literally like with everything else, just quality content. There's really no shortcuts. There's really no shortcuts. Hey, you, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell button, and I'll see you in the next video.
Oh, that's why I really want to watch around the time.
I feel like fat influencers die more often than emo influencers, and that's really saying a lot.
Fat acceptance is a cult.
Just a reminder that I am very fat and very sexy, and I am 100% glorifying obesity.
I want to inspire big girls all over the world. This is what I manifest.
Oh,
This is what
hot
I
it up.
manifest.
Sorry, that I was like
These are
a
the
little
people,
bit
by
focused
the
on like
way,
lots of things.
that are talking about how Stellar
So,
Blade
how do you
has
like my
unrealistic
new
proportions.
overlay and stuff?
These are the people.
It's been a while I didn't do all this kind of things. Like I dig back like a lot of I dig back a lot of my older stuff and remake some of the newer stuff. Like the phone thing is a new thing. The screen behind me is a new thing. But the tablet is the old thing that I had like 2 years ago that I made. And I add a hand onto it. This and that, yada stuff. You know, like, here's the thing. Watching YouTube while doing work is actually the best thing in the world, and also somehow become the safest way for you to have like something behind the scene while you're working and drawing. Because like normally you play music when you kind of like stream drawing, right? But if you do music, it will always, I mean like always get copyright claim. Yeah. And weirdly, if you play someone YouTube like video, you don't really get copyrighted claim. Maybe like if they want to like manually did that, then I'm fine with it, to be honest, since I'm watching that content. But if I do it this way, for one, I have a better like background sound for myself, so I can tone out my like the ringing in my ears. Like sometimes like lo-fi music doesn't do jack shit. Is if I want to like listen to like music that can kind of like make me tune out the ringing, it's just like, you know, playing some really kick-ass music like from anime music, this and that, yeah, that stuff. But if I play those kind of music, it will immediately get copyright claim. So in a way, I think like doing this is the safer, like weirdly the safest options for you to do work while having like noise behind you. Yeah, like it is like annoying. And then like that I also love to play like the Holocure. But Holocure always like, because like what Cover Corp actually contracted with like a music label company. So anything that related to Hololive music, they will always copyright claim it. So if you do anything Hololive, like have any like of the theme music, even you remixed it, you will get copyright claim. So yeah, and even like the creator is like, fine, this I made this music, I kind of like remix it or like recreate everything myself, and then they will still be at the end copyright claim by that particular like label company. But yeah, like again, like I do love like what I'm doing at the moment. All these things, I do like it, and then I do love like how I designed the phone thingy. Is actually just this thing I have. If I put my phone on, it's a reference of what I have right now. See? I love, I love, I love, I love, I love. Yeah, this Saturday I would do like a collab with like a group of people. I never played this game before, so it's going to be a lot more hectic than a thing. So right now I'm creating a thumbnail for it. I'm going to do a drawing, just a simple drawing, because I don't really see like a very... Here's the thing, like Repo don't really have a very I think you already know that Repo don't really have a very good like wallpaper and stuff. Like that emoji is really too bad. So I have to draw my own. At least I see it in the clip, like the hourglass, like if you kind of like hold it, you'll be like, ooh, shiny, and then you get slow motions. So I decided to draw that. Basically, you're just a talking trash can. I hate to say this, but you are essentially a talking trash can. Let's do... this time I will do like a solid color way of how I do my things. First, I'm going to do this one. Let's go for this. Oh, I should put them like right below and then... This way is much more better. And then I have to put a darker colors. Oh yeah, I need to like play some
That
video
are
behind it.
Shaming
You know one
cosplay
thing,
girls
not
on
lots
Twitter.
of people like Asmongo, so I'm trying to paint the target on my back at this point.
Every single day.
Dead at 37.
Choo choo. Choo choo.
It's bad, bro. It's real bad.
I'm fat and I'm sexy.
I'm fat and I'm sexy.
Sure,
Keep saying it. Maybe one day it'll be true.
beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but I don't know about you. I don't find any sexiness in contributing to the statistics that obesity is the leading cause of death in the US. Very
Well, I mean, there's a lot of fat. Like, there's guys that like fat chicks for sure. Like, I mean, but that's not a lot. There's not a lot of them. There's a lot of guys that don't like fat chicks. There's probably more of them that do. Yeah.
I know.
Just because I'm fat, that doesn't invalidate the things that I say.
She died.
You ready to get supersized?
She died too.
Today I've got the big fruit.
Well, it depends on how you're
He's
going to
dead.
record stuff. Here's the thing, like when you have to record things, you have a lot of stuff you can do. Let me like show you guys this. You have a lot of stuff you can do to I was assuming in a way that you are using OBS to record. If you do recording, here's the thing, you go to here, recording stuff. Because I'm having like this, because I'm streaming already, so I can't change any setting. Let me see, can I go to turn off the teleport? Hold on a little bit. Let's see, I can change any of the like a recording setting. I can show it to you how can you use lesser space while you're doing the recording, because you don't necessarily need like god tier level of like recording. You know, like normally when you do streaming, you have like this kind of stuff like going on there. When you have like recording, they actually mimic like your streaming stuff. You should not do that, because streaming is basically is the very like raw type of like encoding, which actually takes a like in a way, it's like it basically just like wasteful lots of space. You should use something is called like a CPQ, and then you can look at the internet. Like you all you need to focus is on your CQ level. You try to record a few video, just like maybe like a 5-minute video, and then you record it in 20, 15, and 12. You record this in like three video in 3 separate occasions, and then you go to edit the video, and then you take a look which number is an okay quality for you, because like I remember like the lower level it is, the lesser the space is going to take, and obviously the quality is not going to be like the super best, but it's like, oh, you just have to adjust it to the level that is like enough for you. It's like higher the level, it's going to become like higher the qualities, but it's going to be like eating up much more space that you have. You just change this from CBR to CQP, and then you can record it however you want. Okay. For me personally, I have the space for it, so I'm just using 16. 16 for a lot of people is actually on the average and like just good enough like qualities. So you can just do this, and then you will have like a nice time. You don't really need like tuning anything like that. Yeah, having this like quarter resolution is actually pretty nice. Oh, you're using a phone to record stuff. Then I can't really help you. If you're using OBS, like I can teach you about this kind of things. If you have like, if you're using that using other software to like recording, you can go to see the encoder setting they have. See, do they have like this type of like VBR, CBR, or like the rate control stuff? If you have, like normally when it comes to recording, they will always like have certain level of like advanced setting. You can actually do a little bit of advanced setting like this. It's going to help you a lot. Normally, if you're just like in standard setting, you're not in like advanced setting, you won't really see all those kind of things. You try to use your phone, record things, and then see is there any like special setting, and then advanced setting, open up this kind of stuff. If you have, search for the encoding setting, and then like the rate control things, go for CQP, and then 16. You will record a smaller space video, which is still good for you. Just don't go, I did say like 12, but 12 is like a very blurry qualities for someone. Depends on like, you're okay with it or not. You can go for 14 if you want. Like I say again, record a few times, see which one is the best one for you. Well, obviously, highest number is the best one. I mean, like the lowest numbers, and it's still a tolerable like quality for you. Having that will help you a lot. And then just do like apply stuff, and then done. It's not like resolution or anything. Like the thing I taught you is the encoding of the video. It's not just resolutions. Resolution is one of the things that like dictate the space it will be taking to like record. Your resolutions, your frame rate, your encoding setting, these 3 things like conjoined together will be contributing to how much space you take when you're recording stuff. It's best if you are just recording stuff, you can just record in a 45 frame per second if you really want to save some space. Because 60 frame per second, imagine like in each second there's like 60 image to save in there. So it's a lot. especially when you are in like high resolutions. Things will become even like much more harder. So you just do a since you already run like 750p, you can do the 30 frame per second or 45 frame per second if you can custom it. It's still better than like just stuck on 30, especially when you do a lot when the thing you record have lots of action in it. Have like slightly higher frame rate, it does help, especially when you look around a lot, like when you're playing games. If you don't look around a lot, yeah, it's like 30 frames is still fine, kind of. But yeah. I say again, like 1080 is like a lot of space. It's a high quality image, and not lots of people will watch stuff in 1080 if they don't really have a good internet. If you can't, like normally 720p is already a okay resolution for casual consumer. They don't really need like high quality shit, especially when you record like Roblox. You don't need 1080 clear crisp image 4K Roblox showing to people. People come for the content, not come for the image qualities when it comes to Roblox, okay?
Jesus, 33 and 37.
On my Fat Positive radio show.
I was expecting something different to happen with that share, and I am disappointed. Man.
Didn't last long because she died.
Unlike how Dove or the new wave of Victoria's Secret wants you to believe, healthy beauty does not come at every size.
Well, the reason why they do this is because, so you have to understand that there's a lot of these girls, and like I think that women do this a lot. One of the sickest things that I think girls do is they like gassing up fat girls and making them feel good about themselves. But I think that the reason why is simply because they don't feel like they're in competition with these girls, so they can do it comfortably. That's the reason why. So they gas them up, and then they end up dying.
Certainly not at a lot of the socially noble, body-positive plus sizes. Yet it is absolutely not wholesome to point that out. So much corporate glorification has been done to powder the fat elephant in the...
I mean, this is just fetish shit, right? I mean, like, there's all kinds of weird shit like this. I wouldn't even really think much about this.
Room. That obesity is in fact a disease, not a bragging point. But corporations don't want you to get well because there's a gold mine in fatness.
Think about how many McDonald's there are. There's so many McDonald's. Like, if there weren't any fat people, what would they do?
In convincing you to shed it, but also for
it's
you
not
to
wrong.
keep it. Take body positive all-star Dove, for instance. Real beauty comes at every size. They stretch out their
Honestly, I think that Dove, if they want to make a fat label or like a fat product, they should call it Penguin. Because penguins waddle around a lot, they can't fly, and they just roll around on their belly. They should rename it.
Plastic bottles and video game figures to slap on words like beautiful, sexy.
Oh God.
Here's
the other problem that I think a lot of these people
have to understand
is
this
that
point that is like wet. I know this sounds sad. I'm also actually kind of wet too. But here's the thing, my wet is like normal wet. When people like trying to do like body positivity, they literally look at the wet level is literally is like out of the space, okay? You really have to control what you eat. You really have to not just control what you eat, like you have to control like what you do, like exercise daily and stuff. Like you don't really have to like dedicate it, like do push-up and stuff. You just stand up, you know? You just randomly stand up, listen to your favorite anime, just do your most cringiest dance you can do. Like, just doing that is a exercise. Just do something. Like, those things are considered movement. Long as there's movement, it's fine, okay? You can talk while you're doing something like this. just for no reasons. Like every movement in your body is technically an exercise. So just do a lot of movement. Yeah, just don't walk around in your house and then end up in front of a fridge. I know there's a lot of people does that. Even I do that. Keep walking around, wandering in the house, end up like in front of a fridge, and then just, oh well, just open it up. And then, alright, there's nothing there. Best case scenario is nothing there. Worst case scenario is there's like a sweet roll in there. You'll be like, oh shit, I need to take one. There's no water in there. You definitely do not open it for water. Open for water. Trust me, nobody does that. Especially when there's soda in there. Or like some Canamam, China Mom. I don't know what that yellow flower juiced, or like Ribena, or any fruit juice, any fruit and stuff, yada stuff. Lots of people keep telling you like fruit is good, and then eat more fruit. Actually, fruit can make you fat. Depends on what kind of fruit you eat, obviously, but still, eating too much fruit doesn't really help you too. If you keep thinking about like fruit is good for you, and then you just keep like eating like 10 banana in a day, and then you're just going to become fat. 10 banana is too much. 50 apple is too much. It's good for you, but you're going to die from eating too much from overdose of vitamin.
They have to like accurately or actively try to make it seem like it is comparable to being skinny. And I think that also one thing that you've noticed, and I don't know if anybody else has noticed this, is that with a lot of these like fat activists and fat influencers, 95% of them are women. And the reason why is that the whole of fat acceptance movement is derived from fat women trying to psyop men into dating them. That's the entire thing. That's it. That's the whole thing. It's over.
Beautiful, sexy, confident whenever they can, like every other human.
Well,
I
you can say kind of.
that it was.
It's a yes and no
the
situation for
self-love
that.
journey of women and leave it at that. But no, I decided to ruin my day and my trust in humanity by researching a bit more and found out that Dove is owned by Unilever. And guess what else Unilever owns? Ben & Jerry's.
So you call this in business, you call this vertical integration. And if they fully want to go all the way, they need to buy a funeral home.
Ice cream, Magnum ice cream, and many other ice creams, Hellman's Mayo,
They need to get a mobility scooter business and then a funeral home business too.
and all your greasy burgers, Skippy peanut butter, a selection of frozen foods. I can go on. Isn't it nice to encourage your consumers to accept their enlarging bodies?
Wait. Is that who I think it is?
I don't know who she is.
Oh shit.
And deteriorating health as the ideal in order to sell more of your processed foods because their beautiful bodies deserve more. Has body positivity, a movement intended to uplift women, become...
It's all women. That's what it's all about.
Well, that dude
And
exists
also, by
too.
the way, there's no one. So you think that men hate women? There's no one who hates women more than other women. Like, if you think that we're bad because like somebody makes a joke about like a chick being fat or something, these girls will like get in these group chats and it'll be like fucking 8 to 10 fucking hens pecking one hen to death. Like, that's what it's like in these group chats. I've seen the fucking leaks, man. Like, they're sitting there and they're like making fun of like I didn't even know, like they're bringing up things I didn't even know existed. You're talking about like eyebrow length, like the eye width, like like your nose bridge, like what the fuck? These are like those settings in video games. Like, I don't even want to touch these. And they're getting down there in the weeds.
just manipulative limits to our acceptable emotions.
Stop glorifying obesity. That's, oh my God. I'm surprised she's not bigger, to be honest. She must exercise.
Sweet child. That's what I do. It's what I live for.
And
so the reason why these fat influencers are very popular, this is another really important thing, is that the reason fat influencers are popular is because it creates a, let me think of a way to put this. It makes it to where fat people that are less fat than them can watch them eat food and feel better about themselves. So, yeah, I've said before that fat people on average are more selfish and self-indulgent than, the general population. And this is just, I mean, everybody, gluttony is a sin for a reason. And so anyway, we know that, everybody knows that.
Yeah, I don't think
know
this
that,
type of girl
we
is
know
good.
who they are.
Let's
And
go
so
for
anyway,
something else.
the reason why these fat influencers are popular is because it's a way for people that are fat but not as fat as them, and they aren't eating as much food as them, to watch them eat food while they're eating food, but they're eating a little bit less food than the fat influencer is eating, so they feel better about themselves. It's basically like the second fattest kid in the class knowing and having a good self-image because he knows that there's one more kid that's even fatter than he is. That's how it works.
He's not wrong.
A cover for
If you
big
are the
food, big
dumbest in the
farming,
class,
and
at least
big
you
pharmaceutical
self-aware enough
companies
there's someone dumber
to
than you,
profit
then
off
yeah.
a nation of increasingly sick and fat people. None of this is a coincidence.
So the industry has engineered what they call the bliss point for the perfect amount of sugar in products, not too little, not too much, working on maximizing the allure of their products.
Quote, "We like them fat." Pick any ultra-processed foods at your local grocery store, for example. Some Kraft mac and cheese and Nestle drumstick paired with some Kit Kat, Coffee Crisp, Smarties, and why not throw in some Laffy Taffy? Pop in the Kool-Aid and 4 cans of Dr. Pepper to keep hydrated. Oh, and can't forget the Oreo and Chips Ahoy. 4 cans
Great, that sounds like a really good breakfast.
Orange Fanta for the vitamins. Balance, as one may say. As conventional beauty standards have become much more accepting and ambiguously defined.
They're not more accepting and they're not ambiguously defined. This is marketing for women to women. It doesn't matter how many fat chicks you show in a bikini, it's not going to psyop a guy into liking them. That's not how it works. They're marketing to fat women. Yeah, they're marketing to them. They're farming them.
Yum yum.
by beauty giants. But guess who owns
Best
the
breakfast you
beauty
can have.
giants? Conglomerates like Nestle, Unilever, who sell you anything from chocolate to ice cream to frozen foods. And that is when the Dove body soaps begin to make sense. Not saying that all body positive and fat acceptance campaigns are there to manipulate and trick you into increasing your body fat percentage without limits. And that is exactly
Very
what
straightforward,
why else would you do it?
unapologetically. They are. Because here's the thing, like, it is true that, like, if you do business, you
so
will
much of the
need
message comes
that to
actually
happen.
from an extremely caring and
Like, here's the
helpful
thing.
perspective.
Nobody start a food business that is not healthy and will just, like, you know, imagine like a McDonald's employee just go into like beside of your like customer, just say, hey, you should eat less fried. Here, a vegan burger. No people will do that. They are doing business and then they will make you eat them.
To help remove the stigma around plus-size people. But also, so much fat glorification has been disguised as acceptance.
Oh my god.
And when the majority of your stakeholders need to make money from selling frozen pizzas and ice cream, the votes are not up to you. Hiding profit generating.
Also, you think about it too, is like you can sell one Kit Kat to a skinny person a week. You can sell 6 Kit Kats to a fat person a day.
Yeah. Like I say.
That's a pretty easy decision, right? I mean, if you're in the business of selling Kit Kats, you know where you're getting. You know where you're getting
fat
your money.
Glorification under the term fat acceptance is genius in 2 ways. First, it plays on the sentiment of correcting social
All
injustices
bodies are beach bodies? Yeah, I've seen plenty of whales on the beach.
in society. Yes, arguably so, the statistical likelihood of fat and obese people facing more difficulties in society, such as prejudices, is a lot higher. And the stigmatization in media.
People have a stigma towards being fat is because it's disgusting and unhealthy. That's the reason why they have a stigma to it. This isn't a stigma like race or, you know, a person with a disability or something like that. That's it.
Ooh.
Brought unfair shaming to obese individuals, which should never be normalized. But glorifying obesity, the disease, as
I think
conventional.
it's very easy to understand the difference between shaming and attacking a person for being overweight and acknowledging that being overweight is not equal to a lifestyle of being.
Oh yeah, by the way, if you guys didn't know, the people in the quote-unquote fat communities, they decided to be boycotting the word obesity. Do you know what the word obesity is? Do you know what BMI is? BMI is when they do a calculation of your height and your weight to calculate is the body is suitable for that particular weight or not. So, when your body weight and the height, it have a disproportionate like numbers to it, like imbalancing number. They have like an average number that you should be staying in, and then you have like above like certain level, you become like overweight, and then above that level is going to become obese category 1, and then obese category 2, obese category 3. So obesity is literally when you went off the chart. I mean, like literally you went off the healthy chart for your bodies and like body weight and height ratio. And when that ratio went off, it become unhealthy. And when you become ultra, more than overweight, and then you become obese. So obese is it is a medical term to say you're fucked. And you should do some exercise. And I can even open up a site for this. Like you don't even have to purposefully go and open a site for it, but still, I'm just going to show it. BMI Yeah, you just go for a BMI calculator, just random BMI calculator. They will show you this thing, obesity category 1, 2, and 3. Okay, you have like a normal range and also underweight range, and then overweight range, and then like you can't go under than more than under. You basically would just get blew away by the wind. So I am like 30 years old, and then I'm 174. So right now I was 81. So let's do a calculations. I'm in overweight. This is why I'm saying fat. It's not like way over the chart, but it's overweight. You know, I actually started doing a lot of exercise and like on the diet because I used to be obese category 1. Aha. Yeah, I used to be this fat, you know. I have to like tone down on the gluten. Like I quit eating, not like fully quit eating bread. I lower the intake of rice, bread, and noodles, anything that involve like floured, you know, floured and rice. Just try to avoid them as much as possible. If you are going out to eat with your family and then they will like have rice and stuff, so I'm fine with it and I'm going to take it. And I'm fine. It's like, it's not going to die. You're not allergic to gluten. So try your best just to eat as less gluten as possible. There are people going to like crave for those kind of stuff, so it's fine. This is why I say like just lower your intake. It's not like tell you not to eat anymore. Just force yourself not to eat. If you want to take it, just take it. Just don't force yourself until you have like some sort of like guilty conscience when you try to eat it. Depends on your physical activity too. Gluten is actually a very good energy source if you do a lot of labor work. Imagine you are a construction worker. Obviously, you're going to eat a lot. You require a lot of energy to move stuff and to like supply your bodies. So eating bread, eating rice, those kind of stuff actually does help you a lot. But you are just a normal guy doing office work or just a student that stay in your home, play games all days and like do some homework. Just majority of the time, you're just sitting there, not doing anything. Eating rice and gluten is not really good for you. But if you literally just like do a lot of physical activity stuff, or you daily go out for badminton with your friends and stuff like that, and yeah, you can eat rice, definitely. It's not a crime. It's just that if you don't really have a lot of physical activity, try to lessen those kind of intake. Will help you a lot. And first month, I can tell you this is literally happened to me. First month, I lower my gluten intake. I basically have like less rice. Technically, I already skipped rice at that point, and I don't eat any bread at all. I literally just eat nuggets, nuggets, and not nuggets. It's like ham, like you know, Ramly burgers, those kind of things. Like, I know it's not actually that healthy. Oily stuff doesn't really help that much too. But for some reason, because I do know this one thing, oil is not the thing that make you fat. Sugar is the thing that make you fat. Gluten is the thing that make you fat. Oil is going to make you have heart attack. It's a different thing. It's a different thing. Since I still have a healthy heart, I decided to be like, in this month, I'm just going to eat like nuggets and, you know, like basically just, I won't really say like fried stuff. It's more like, you know, shearing stuff. I don't fry the nuggets. I just like either put them in air fryer or like just give them a little bit like nice shearing, those kind of things. I heat them enough, like even like Ramly stuff. I eat a burger without the bread. So I eat a lot of those things and obviously a lot of vegetables. And then I just do that for like a month. Yes, a month. I'm from 96 to 97 kilogram to drop to 85. And I'm not even kidding about that. I literally dropped like 10 kilograms within a month from my first, from literally just cut off the diet of gluten diet. Not cut off, like lowering as much as possible. It will help you. Obviously, after I reach to a certain point, those are like the easy fat that can cut off. And then now what I have left is stubborn fat. Stubborn fat is something that you really have to do a lot of exercise to actually to shave that off. There are like stuff that you can just cut off from diet and then you immediately like reduce like enough. But there's still stuff that in your body that you really have to work to remove it. So currently my body is just like have like a lot of stubborn fat at the moment. So I do have to do a lot of exercise and stuff, but too bad my medical condition make me a little bit hard to like do a lot of like physical exercise that much. I still doing it, it's just not in the way that is like really intensive enough to like shave off the weight. I'm currently is like already like I say like I'm already 83, managed to shave it off. Like once I from like 90, 97, 98, 97, like 95, 96, like dropped to like 95, 85. Like the 10 kilogram. After that, it was like straight up a year. I never drop. I never get like a raise in like raise in weight or drop in weight. I can't drop my weight even furthermore because of this all the stubborn fat I have at the moment. So yeah, just try to take care of like your eating stuff and do your best to kind of like use this kind of like BMI calculators to balance out your weight. If you notice you are underweight, please eat shit. I mean like not literal shit. I mean like please eat more stuff that can make you fat. Like eat protein, this and that, yeah, there's stuff. All those things that can help you build some muscles. Sometimes you don't really need a lot of like fat to make you, you know, like to make you heavier. You need to be like eating a lot of protein, build a lot, like even you are very thin, if you build enough muscle, you will have like enough weight for you to be normal weight. Okay, be healthy. But either way, just remember like this thing exists. So you have to like take a look at it. For me right now, if I'm kind of like in here right now, it's still in the middle range. My actual healthy weight I need to be in is actually 75. Just shy to be like those kind of levels. So you guys really have to like take care of yourself, okay? I need to do more exercise one days to be like shave off my weight. And you know what? Actually, I'm just going to do more treadmill content in futures, I guess. Like just like treadmill and just like have a chat with you guys. You know? So yeah, right now I'm 83 in here. So if I need to shave off to like 75, 83, I need to shave off like 8 more kilograms to actually like be in the normal weight. Who knows? Maybe if I just bump up my height, I can be, yeah. just wish that the schools that measures my height actually measure it wrongly. I'm actually 175, not 174. So yeah. Also, hi there, Xiaoma.
Then, like, there are some ways of living that are worse than others. So, like, for example, like the way that I live is not very good in a lot of ways. And I would never want to say that like the way that I live is equivalent to the way that somebody else lives that's more healthy. But the problem is that these people are so self-indulgent and they have so little self-confidence that they need the entire world to shift and mold in a way that makes them feel good about being disgusting.
Beauty hints at a moral superiority and makes anyone's opinions who differ morally shallow, regardless if fat is unhealthy or not. Second, a food company telling you that being fat is natural, which isn't, and awesome is not so convincing.
There's no waistline worry with Coke, you know. This individual size bottle has no more calories than half a grapefruit.
When you can spot their profit motive from 50 miles away.
Coke is low in calories, too. Say now, don't you get any thinner?
A direct hard sell won't work here. But when a beauty or self-care company you never associate with frozen pizza casts someone plus size for a commercial, you get fired up with a sense of justice. Yeah, that is beautiful too. Don't get me wrong, overly restrictive beauty with models who are only Kate Moss level heroine chic is also problematic because again, it is not healthy. But as much as
I think it's obviously a very big difference between you have somebody who's like I feel like really like any of these like anorexic you know, Victoria's Secret models and stuff like that.
I think they
feel
changed
like
quite a
that's
lot.
just as weird and gross as being really fat. Like these are like both unhealthy lifestyles, etc. And so there's like a spectrum where like I don't think every girl in like a modeling catalog or something should be like 100 pounds, right? Of course, I don't think anybody thinks that, except for probably girls that have like an eating disorder. But other than that, no, nobody thinks that. But there's a big difference between that and morbid obesity.
Many wish, the spectrum of healthy does not stretch over to obesity. It is amazing that women of all sizes are loving and accepting who they are, but genuine self-love and confidence comes from within and not society telling you or some ads telling you that your size is also quote-unquote beautiful. What we're talking about here is not the opposite of fat shaming. For shaming someone for any reason is not acceptable behavior because it does not come from a place of genuine care of wanting to help them be well.
I think that's what happens. Like 95% of like fat shaming is just somebody looking for an excuse to make fun of somebody else. That's it. They're not really trying to help you. They're not trying to do anything good. They're just being assholes. Like that's true. Definitely. Chicken, thanks for the 10 gifted subs. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, like there's also like the part that is like, for me, I always like will tell people that, yeah, you're fat, but not like I'm trying to like insult you, like like not like the good healthy way kind of fat, you know? Like I'm fat too, so it's not really like in good healthy. If I actually let myself go, I will go back to obese again. And then, you know, being fat is not great. You get hard time breathing. You can't do a lot of stuff. Imagine like I already have hard time breathing because of my nose, and then I have like fat issues. I can't even breathe with my mouth that properly. That is going to be harming my entire life. So hard. It's basically committing seppuku in a very slow ass way. People shouldn't do that to themselves. And I know because I am one of the fat dude. And when I look at my old photo, I'd be like, holy shit, I was like super thin. Because like here's the thing, when I become fat, I don't really look like I'm too fat. There's a reason why I don't look too fat is because the way I fatten up is like is a very like overall fat. So it's like I get thicker overall. Some people become fat is like they have like big ass belly. Some people become fat, they have like a very like floppy big arm, something like that. Or for me, it's like I don't really have a specific part about in my body that is like super fat. It's just that everything just gradually expand together.
About the glorification of fat, disguised as acceptance.
Positivity is toxic because it pretends to be rooted in compassion and kindness, but in reality, it encourages women to engage in very destructive behaviors.
Do you remember what I said before about how like so many of people's values and the things that they promote are just simply ways for them to you know, signal their virtue and signal that they're a good person, and it's not actually about helping anyone other than themselves and making themselves feel better. This is another great example of that. This is a perfect example.
To be honest, eating McDonald's is still fine. Eating McDonald's that's like 3 people worth of McDonald's, then that is not fine. If you eat McDonald's and then if you always eat a McDonald's and a McFlurry and a sodas and any kind of like sweet snack added into it, then it is issues. You can eat McDonald's every day, you're still fine. I'm not kidding. You technically can eat McDonald's all days, like every single day, eat once, you will still fine. But the problem is, it's the add-on you have. If you eat McDonald's and then like a 3-person worth of nuggets, then you're not fine. You eat McDonald's and then McFlurry every single day, then you're not fine. If you just eat McDonald's, a 1-person worth of McDonald's, then you still are fine.
Women to be obese, unhealthy.
Because the problem is you eating more than 1 person worth of food. It's the biggest problem is that. If you are a very healthy person that do a lot of like exercise or your work have a lot of physical labors, you can actually just eat McDonald's and then you're not going to affect your life that much. Maybe you might eat too much and then you get a heart attack, but generally you won't die or like have any big ass like health impact. I know this sounds like very counterintuitive, but everything you should eat is like in moderation. That is the key point. You can eat McDonald's. You won't die from just eating McDonald's. You can eat ice cream, but you won't die from just eating ice cream. The problem is you will have complication if you eat 5 people worth of ice cream every day. You know? Eat some fruit, eat some vegetable, but even vegetable, you eat too much, you will die too, you know? Everything need a moderation, a healthy amount of dose of moderation in that will help you. If you eat a lot, you don't eat snack, still good. If you don't eat, if you kind of like eat it in a way, maybe like sometimes you eat some snack, then it's fine too. I'm not telling people to stop eating, have like a very strict diet. You can eat anything you want. In control. Okay? You are the one in control. You have to know, because like, here's the thing. If you prevent yourself, just say like, I'm on a diet, I will not eat this type of things. You know what will happen? You will crave for that food, and then one day you're just going to lose control and eat as much as possible. And that is going to be bad. And then another thing is like, if you don't eat a certain type of food too long, and then you will lose the ability to process that like that kind of food properly. So imagine like you didn't eat like a lot of McDonald's for a very, very long time, and then you decided to eat it once. Your body just don't know how to like adjust to it. It might fatten you up way more than how you eat it back in the days. Yeah.
Healthy and be averse to personal responsibility and discipline.
If you think most body positivity campaigns are to help you love yourself, I'm sorry, honey. Corporate America is a surfacely sweet but extremely cruel place.
It's like, how can you not see the problem? They have to see it and just not care. They have to just be like, well, we're gaining profit. Do you see how much this McDonald's is making? Put another one across the street.
There is nothing wrong with fat acceptance. Acceptance of reality is the first and most essential step to
fat acceptance has to be also the acceptance that being fat isn't healthy. I mean, that's what I think.
Or any type of progress. But the importance of what to do after accepting the reality is often neglected and never talked about. Telling fat people to keep eating the way that's not serving their health because they are beautiful is like telling an alcoholic to keep on drinking because they're fun. It's the easy.
Well, that's what people do though. They do that all the time. And the reason why is because it makes them feel good. It makes people feel good to say how they're accepting of fat people, and it makes people feel bad to say that, oh, well, this isn't healthy. It's all about how somebody feels, and it's not about the person that they're trying to signal empathy towards. They don't care about that person at all. That's why they're okay of having this person kill themselves as long as they can make them feel good in the process.
And profitable thing to do.
Having a fat country makes us money.
But at the end of the day, it is irresponsible to push unhealthy, addictive behaviors to a greater extreme with the power of both brainwashing, quote-unquote self-love ads, and processed foods designed in a way that's addicting, easy to eat, and easy to repeat the eating pattern. It's not a simple good versus bad food, normal versus fat problem. It's a whole addictive pattern building trap.
I lost 60 pounds in 6 months. Everyone was so happy for me. I hated myself. I hated the way I looked. I hated why I exercised.
Naturally fat. Our daily...
Oh my god.
That is the dumbest shit I just heard.
If you're naturally fat, why are there no uncontacted tribes that have naturally fat people there? Because if this is something that would occur in nature, and we have all of these uncontacted tribes, like the ones that are near Australia, none of those people are fat. So the only place that it's natural at is McDonald's. And so is that something that's because of nature, or is it because of McDonald's? I wonder.
Trips to McDonald's genetics, is eating chips in bed genetics, is being allergic to the gym genetics, is running 100 miles genetics. Back in a universe where fat just meant fat and not a compliment or insult, fat just means you have excess energy stored in your body that you are not using. Obesity or overweight is a disorder involving excessive body fat that increases the risk of health problems. Notice how something that elevates your risk of dying of cardiac arrest is a disorder and is not normal. Needless to say, glamorously framed as the modern sexiness.
Super size, what does it say?
You know what? I'm not allergic to the gym, but my wallet is allergic to the gym.
Supersized salon, Jamie Lopez dead. Last intense video and death cause shocking. It's shocking? To who? Who is it shocking to? I'm confused.
Yet times and times again, science and data say one thing, and media and advertising say another. Beauty is supposed to be diverse and natural, but there is nothing natural about being obese. Obesity prevalence was stably low until shooting up post the 70s, and even though there is no data evidently backing up its absence in our hunter and gatherer days, rare civilizations removed from modern processed foods and lifestyles such as—
Bro, she used the exact same example. Yeah, fucking exactly. Like, if you want to think this is natural, go look at an uncontacted tribe. That's going to tell you what's natural. They're not fat. Do you know why? Because it's not natural. Fucking exactly.
The Chimene tribe is a close modern case. The Chimene, a Bolivian population living in a subsistence lifestyle of hunting, gathering, fishing, and farming, had the lowest levels of coronary heart diseases reported to date and statistically insignificant obesity.
Hey, is that durian?
What a surprise.
Also use sugar and starchy carbs, just
guessed?
harvested by themselves. So do these people just have some God-sent fat-proof genetics? No. The overall Bolivian population
It's gotta be some kind of fucking abstract, like, genetic problem. It can never just be you.
share similar genetics is still subject to 28 and 17% of obesity for women and men. So if they also eat carbs, fat, protein, just like the American diet, why are they rarely inflicted with fat-related health complications? Is all the difference really in the absence of food processing? According to CDC...
No, it's the difference. It's that they eat a lot of food, they don't exercise. See, somebody wants to blame that, like, oh, it's not my fault, it's processed food's fault. Well, when your body is a food processor, then maybe it's your fault.
Americans are eating more calories on average than they did in the 1970s. Between 1971 and 2000, the average man added 168 calories to his daily fare, while the average woman added 335 calories a day. What is driving this trend? Experts say it's a combination of increased availability, bigger portions, and more high-calorie foods, but
Jeez, that's a lot of chicken.
nothing beats the devious design of processed foods to get people hooked as an addictive coping mechanism to rising psychological issues. Food addiction is a carefully designed process. People aren't
Why
stuffing
women triple men? The reason why I think is that I feel like there's probably a lot of different reasons. Honestly, it's probably not like one thing specifically.
their faces in beans when they're having a bad.
Yeah, who's to blame? The people eating the food are to blame. Yeah, I'm sorry, but like I get that like some foods can be addictive and this is not good for people, and yeah, processed foods are bad. Sure, but if you're putting it in your mouth, you're the one that's at fault. You did it. You put it in your mouth, you started eating it. That's you. You did that wrong.
Day. Quote, foods that are very high in fat and carbohydrate in equal ratio don't exist naturally, said Gerhardt, a clinical psychologist at the University of Michigan. It is something that is designed by food scientists in a laboratory to look a certain way, feel a certain way in your mouth, smell a certain way when you open the package. So once you had one pleasant experience with it, you want more, and you want it more often. Food addiction.
This is again what I was saying, is that these people lack self-control.
Yep.
And they engage in self-indulgence at a very high ratio that is unhealthy and destructive.
Is on the rise, and the conglomerates are normalizing it, or rather glamorizing the consequence of it.
Well, they're just capitalizing off of it. I think that really if these companies, if being really thin was popular, these companies would just be making bullshit products that are supposed to make you lose weight. Like, you guys ever been to like a grocery store and you look at, you know, the magazine rack, and every single month somehow Dr. Oz has a new pill that helps women lose weight without exercising? How is it possible that there's a new one every single year, every single month? Well, I can tell you why. It's because people keep buying them. That's why. And so if it's just simply meeting a market expectation.
I accidentally squeezed
So much of the fat acceptance movement is actually a brainwashing ad for addictive junk food. And yes, excuse my language, for it is now politically incorrect to call food good or bad. And I agree. It's all based on perspective. Good for what and bad for what, and how much of good before it turns
The
not
only people that have a problem with saying good food and bad food are people that are eating bad food. It's just how it is.
good. Because good versus bad is so subjective, it's easier than ever for food companies to manipulate the concept. Because the easier answer is always one that makes you feel good. To eat as much as you want and still feel great about yourself.
Get that fiber and the antioxidants and just feel.
And the greatest beneficiaries to glorifying this disease is the toxic triad of big farming, big food, and big pharma for creating.
That's right. So they get you making the food, then they get you selling you the food, and then they get you dying because you ate the food. That's the circle of life.
Nation of sick and fat people. Let me put it into context. About a third of our economy thrives on making people more fat and sick. Big farming grows 500 more calories per person per day than 25 years ago. Industrially processed foods with addictive combinations of fat, sugar, and salt deter the stop signals for eating. The sicker our population, the more medications are sold for high cholesterol, diabetes, high blood pressure, depression, and other lifestyle-driven diseases. While more and more of us believe not only is this okay,
My
this
thoughts on body positive. Jesus Christ.
type of sickness is sexy and beautiful. And sadly, the profit-driven version of the fat acceptance movement targets women way more. Why do we see a range of plus-size models from mannequins in retail to Victoria's Secret fashion shows, while men's fashion still shows buff and toned models and plastic mannequins? Something does not add up. Perhaps it is because
The reason why also is because women are less looks oriented than men are. Like for a lot of girls, this is what I've noticed is that there's like a threshold for your attractiveness. So like if a guy is at least like a 5 or a 6, he can get with a girl that's, let's say, a 10 if he has a personality that's very positive and likable. Where it's like, obviously more attractive guys have advantages, but like there's much more of like a diminishing return for men than there is for women. And or money. Well, yeah, there's a lot of ways that, like, yeah, there's a lot of ways that guys can be attractive to women, right? Whereas with women, I think that there's more of a focus on the way that they look. And that's the reason why more women get into fat acceptance. It's because it's in their best interest to push the narrative that being fat is normal because they're fat and they want it to be normalized so they can date guys that they think are attractive. That's the reason why. The more money you have, the uglier you can be. I'm sure that's probably true to an extent. Like I don't know, but like I'm saying that like that's what I've noticed with a lot of girls.
Of the preconceived notion that women
fat guys. I've seen a lot more pretty girls with fat guys than I've seen attractive
this
guys
was
that are in
nice.
shape with fat girlfriends. That's just the truth. I've seen a whole lot of that.
care more about appearances, or that many women still take the main responsibility for shopping for food for the whole household, which drives more impact in speeding up the fattening of the population, leading...
Jesus Christ, bro. Like, you think about this. This is just like, you can tell this is a hog family, right? Because, like, they overfilled this plate so much that she's gonna spill beans and shit on this sofa. 100% probability. Like, this is just gross. Like, it is nasty. It's so bad. I do think that if you have a kid and your kid is morbidly obese, which is like 100 pounds over being obese, I think that's child abuse. Now, I mean, if your kid's a little bit pudgy or chubby, that's not really a big deal. But if they're morbidly obese, that's child abuse.
To more sickness. The spiral itself, from farming to food processing to solving a naturally increasing problem, is just bleak and sickening. Self-acceptance is not the opposite from self-improvement, and is certainly not the logical reason to reject.
I think you have to accept yourself. Like, this is the thing, is that, like, for me, for example, when I was like, I was having problems with my blood pressure and it was high. And so what I did is I changed what I was eating and I exercised more. And by doing that, and I made a couple of other lifestyle changes, like, you know, trying to like consciously not be as stressed out. And well, yeah, of course, because it went down. I went to the doctor. It went down by like 50 points or something like that. And how is it now? I haven't been for a while, but I feel fine and that's it. And so stress is a killer. It is. But the fact is that, you know, everybody can solve this problem themselves. All they have to do is take accountability for it. I think that the moment that you displace accountability to something that you can't control is the moment that you've decided to not solve the problem. So, like, if your problem is socioeconomic, if your problem is because of X or Y thing that you don't have control over, you've already decided subconsciously that you're not looking to solve this problem at all.
Generate 90% of your cells. Frozen pizzas, chocolates, chips, and whatever genius foods corporations created to keep you addicted and sick. Part of loving yourself is to actually take accountability for your well-being instead of letting profit-seeking commercials.
Yeah, and you have to accept what you are. It's like, for example, like I would always tell myself, oh, well, I don't really have enough time to exercise because I'm always
obviously
busy.
It is worth like maybe like
yeah, I do.
50K. Yes, it's definitely worth 50K.
That's all. I don't make it a priority.
Don't drop it.
That's it.
It can. It's a medium. It's a medium-sized item, but it can use it as a weapon to damage any mob.
That's it.
Like it deals twice the damage. It deals 50 damage.
Tell you that you are
because it's so
enough.
spiky.
Being positive does not mean being unrealistic. It requires the courage to face the discomfort of broken delusions and be willing to make changes if needed.
Body positivity movement has now resulted in magazine covers that actually says this is healthy. The lifestyle of being obese is now not only beautiful, but it's healthy.
Glorifying a disease is not self-love. It's delusion.
Well, it's not even just delusion. It's something that's damaging to the people that are reading it. I feel like if it was just delusional, it wouldn't really matter. But these people are actively pushing a psyop to young girls to make them think that something that they're doing that's bad is actually good.
How did
that's the issue? It's malice. Yeah, it's self-indulgent malice.
Have any health problems. Always out of breath and it's hard to do things, but that's because of fat phobia. The doctor's not listening to me. It has nothing to do with the fact that my fupa restricts my movement.
And despite how impossible it seems, what you do after acceptance is still your choice to make. That's a food for thought.
This has been something that's been going on for a while. Like I figured I'd watch this. It just got recommended to me or some shit, and so I was gonna watch it. You're gonna motivate and inspire a lot of people. Well, it's very simple on how to solve this, right? Is you have to take accountability for it. And I think that the big problem that a lot of people like this have is that they never actually take accountability for the things that they're doing, and they always blame the problems they have on something that's unrelated to them. So basically it's the same as like, well, why can't I do something? Well, I'm not lucky. I'm not like X, Y, or Z. Now, and also if you show these people somebody else who is in their position or a position that's worse than them that still was able to do it, they're just going to get mad at you, because ultimately they're not looking for a reason, they're looking for an excuse, and that's it. You played through Wuthering Wave Patch? Not yet. No, I haven't. And she has to eat more. She needs to eat more though? No, I don't know about that. I think she's fine, right? I mean, that's not really no, I feel like there are some people that are so psyoped by like being fat that they see somebody who is just at a healthy weight and they're like, whoa, wow,
ta-da,
whoa, what's going on? Like this is that's the way it works. Yeah, it's nuts. You're perfectly fine. Yeah, she was fine. And so anyway, like I don't like, as I said before, I don't like making a lot of comments on women's appearance just in general, but like yeah, I mean, she's a healthy weight for sure. And I've had this happen a lot for me, right? Is that like growing up especially, I always had people making fun of me for being skinny, and I always found it to be very annoying. I didn't like that at all. She looks normal. Yeah, exactly. I don't know why people struggle to lose weight. Just eat healthy and work out.
Well, it depends. Do you know what repo means?
Why. And the problem is that,
like, the actual word repo is, the R is stand for repossession. I think it's like equity, property, and O for something else. I forgot. Like object. I forgot. It's basically, it's like if you buy a car, you borrow a loan to buy a car and from the bank, and then you buy a car and then you didn't pay the bank back. The bank will ask someone to repo the shit out of the car that you just bought. So how the repo works, that is basically just how repo works. It's going to repossess the stuff that technically you don't own, because you borrow money to buy it, but you didn't repay it back, and now it's the bank, and the bank will take it back. So, if you buy a wig and you borrow a loan to buy it, they definitely going to repossess it.
that a lot of people like to use excuses for things and blame them on something that's not themselves, because that's something that is easy for them to do. They can just simply say, well, it's because of this or that or this other thing that I don't have any control over, and then they can feel good about it rather than actually taking accountability for themselves. And I think that's really why it's so popular, and that's why there's so many people that are getting into it. See dislike numbers? No, it's very, very low. I mean, most people agree with this, right? And but if a child's developing
Well, depends on how rich you are. If you're so broke to the point, if you want to buy a wig, you have to borrow a loan from a bank. I think you have some priority issues. Hey, it's my own stream. Yes, let's watch this.
Speedrunning an intro here, I just learned about some of the most entertaining drama of 2024. I saw it through Evil Pineley's video covering the situation 2 weeks ago, and it is still going currently today. It's about the CEO of a parchment paper business losing his mind and having this whiny temper tantrum meltdown, all because he watched a TikTok video of a girl being cooked a meal by her father.
When I told my dad I was going to be getting him the same pans that Gordon Ramsay has, he was so excited. I'm talking about the hex-clad pans, and today...
It's a super innocent video of this girl's dad making a meal, and the CEO of parchmentpaper.com was angrier about this than he would be if he walked in on his wife having sex with another man. Though it is quite the stretch of imagination to envision this guy, this lunatic, with any kind of companionship in his life. So after watching this, he was infuriated, went on the actual company's business account, and left a mean comment, which started a series of events he couldn't have possibly foreseen.
I posted a video yesterday of my dad cooking for me with these hex-clad pans that we had gotten. There was a comment on there where the person goes, "Must be tough living a life on easy mode." I also didn't think the comment was rude at first, so I responded with, "Lucky to have parents who make it possible." And they responded, "Yeah, we get it. You have no skills and family money."
That's already such a weird comment right there. Must be nice living life on easy mode when it's just a girl getting cooked a meal by a caring father. Like, how bitter and miserable can your life possibly be to just see something like that and be like,
you know, here's the thing.
Give her a piece of mind.
If I'm a dad, here another thing too. My dad really loves to cook. Can a man cook? Like, seriously, just let the man cook in peace, okay? He just want to cook for daughters. You know, all dads love their daughters, okay? They will cook shit for them. Especially they would be happy to, even though you ask him to cook maybe just a pack of like instant noodle. They will do that shit.
My mind. That's a line that's usually used in reference to camming or OnlyFans or something. Must be nice living life on recruit difficulty because men are giving you a ton of money just to be hot. Or
yeah, it's a very general statement. It's like that guy definitely do not have daughters. Because here's the thing, if you or like any family member like surrounding him that have a daughter or anything, because here's the thing. If you have a son, if you have daughters, the son would stick to the mom, and then the daughter would stick to the dad. That is like the most general stuff you can find in the world. You know, it's a very general concept.
Be naked or something, and this guy's taking that same energy and putting it into this situation where it's just a girl being cooked a meal by her father. Make it make sense. So he's so upset that he's doing this from the actual business account for parchmentpaper.com. So the Parchment Paper Patriot is really having a conniption. And then the poster responds saying, you know, it's supportive family, got lucky. She said she didn't even find it rude at first, which I don't know how you would see that as anything other than rude. But regardless, her response was super sweet, and he gets even more heated about that, fucking steam coming out of his ears, and goes, "Yeah, we get it. You have no skills and family money." What kind of projection is this? Holy
It's like,
insecurity.
Here's
What
the
do you mean
thing.
you
Here's the thing. That particular comment, it felt personal for some reason. It's like someone. It's like I just walk around out of nowhere. There's someone like on the other side of the street suddenly call me and just point a middle finger at me and then just fuck you. And then because I can't see that he does the fingers and I can't hear pretty well because it's very far away. I thought he was like waving at me. I was like, thank you. Have a nice day too. And then he proceed to walk straight into my face, point the middle finger at my face again and say, fuck you. And then I'll be like, I don't know how to process this. Like, I really don't know you for my entire life, man. Why you suddenly does that shit? And I'd be like, I don't care. Fuck you.
Have no skills. All she did was show a video of her dad cooking her a good meal. It's ridiculous to assume that she has no skills. It's based on nothing. She could have bow hunting skills, nunchuck skills. She could be one of the most skillful human beings on the fucking planet. We have no idea. And then he's going, it's just your family's money. You're suckling off their bosom because your parents have money. What is happening here? Do you have no skills because you probably order Uber Eats all the time? Is your skill just ruining businesses? Like, I mean, that's a pretty cool skill, I guess. But anyway, this is only the beginning of his rampage, and he just fully self-destructs over the course of the next few hours. It's like Chaozu from Dragon Ball Z, when Chaozu latches onto Nappa and blows himself up, but the sacrifice was in vain because Nappa barely felt anything, really. That's what happens here. Parchment Paper Patriot blows up, and the girl, totally fine, and makes an absolute clown out of this guy. Dunks on him. She obliterates this man.
And at that point, I'm just like, okay, what the hell? Like,
yeah,
maybe
just
this
listen
account
to
is
the
hacked,
video.
because from a business account, that seems kind of weird.
To
so I send them an email, and I'm like, hey, like, I think somebody's on your business account, like, leaving cyberbullying comments.
I can just
Didn't
show
say anything else.
schedule
That was it. And then I get an email from the CEO of...
I think anybody in their right mind would assume that that business account is hacked, because what little toddler would be shitting their pants, soiling their diaper over something as simple as watching a TikTok video of a girl being cooked a meal by her father? So I think that's very sound logic. Oh, this account must be hacked. I'll let the business know. So she reaches out, and the CEO himself, Brandon Howard, steps forward saying, I don't consider stating factual information is cyberbullying, but if you're offended over a comment about having no skill set while getting to frolic through life with family money as bullying, I'd call the cyberbully police. Delete the comment and move along. Cheers. Brandon, I think the department we need on this case is the cringe police, because Jiminy Christmas, holy cannoli. Oh, he tried a facts don't care about your feelings moment there. What facts are we talking about? Her having no skill set? You have no idea who she is. You know nothing about her. All you watched was her get cooked a meal. I'm sure your parents cooked you meals at some point, right? Maybe they don't anymore because you're probably insufferable to be around, so they probably cut you off. I imagine that's the case, which is why you're so upset over this moment. I don't see at all how this would be indicative of her just frolicking through life, coasting off of her family's money. That's a unreal leap in logic based on nothing at all. And honestly, she was like a good Samaritan here, like looking out for your business, thinking that you might have been hacked because of how awful this behavior is and how terrible the look it is for your business. And then you double down and make things significantly worse by being this big loser. Also, I love the chutzpah here from Big Baby Brandon to claim that she was offended over his comment, when this sensitive worm was offended first over her being made a meal. This guy needs to call the wambulance because he can't stop crying about this video of a father making a meal for his daughter.
Considering my parents literally grew up in mud
maybe
huts,
it trigger like his deep sad trauma of his life. His dad knew what to cook for him.
Able to have a full-time job and a side career. He goes back to the page and goes, cyberbullying is even more funny, and the fact that you emailed us to tell us is actually hilarious. Enjoy frolicking through life and leave the rest up to us adults who create actual economic value without a trust.
Yeah, leave the heavy lifting up to the real adults, like Brandon Howard, CEO of ParchmentPaper.com. It's comical that the parchment paper guy is trying to act hard here. Like, I don't know what he expected to happen. He just looks so stupid, claiming that she's like a trust fund kid based on nothing, literally nothing. All just gobbledygook here. All you saw was a video of her getting made a meal by her father. How could you possibly connect all of these weird dots? To me, it seems like the person who's really frolicking through life on easy mode is you, who has unlimited time in the day to respond to random people on TikTok and leave comments that just let everyone know that you're an outrageous asshole. Like, you must not be doing that well business-wise, if that's what it's boiled down to here.
They did send me a legal notice. It came from info@parchmentpapers.com, and it says that they are really worried about the safety of their team, and if I don't remove the defamatory posts on TikTok, they will be taking legal action, which I don't believe it's defamatory
because it's not defamatory at all. All she did was share his comments, which are public, in that email, his statements, all from his mouth. This stupid douchebag is just doing one of those desperate Hail Mary maneuvers when they have nothing else left and trying their absolute best to save a sinking ship from the holes that they themselves have poked in it. And it doesn't work, and it actually leads to him looking like even more of a clown, because she points out some pretty interesting things about this cease and desist.
So yeah, like, I don't believe it's defamatory. I also don't believe you have a legal department because you signed it incorrectly. It says legal department at parchmentpapers.com. You forgot the dot. Did you forget to delete the part where it says, like, your contact information because you're using a template? And also, what's with the cease and desist? I thought it was CEASE. Who's doing your spell check?
Good heavens, Brandon Howard did some ayahuasca and tried to send a cease and desist and lost himself somewhere in the sauce. So apparently it was signed incorrectly from legal department at parchmentpapers.com. And then here's some more information on it, I suppose, where he left in your contact information in brackets. So as she points out, that means he's most likely using a template here. That is actually that shit on a teleprompter where it's like, wait for applause, and you say it out loud and you're like, oh, I made a big boo-boo because I wasn't supposed to read that. He fucking left that in. This absolute buffoon. And the goober doesn't even know what a cease and desist is. He did seize and desist. Holy shit. I think he's the only one that works at this company. Nobody else saw this before the email got sent out. His supposed legal department okayed this. If he does have a legal department, they need to be fired right now. They need to get fired yesterday, because that is a disgrace. That is not a legal document whatsoever. Fucking your contact information in brackets, cease and desist. You couldn't have made that any worse. This legal document he tried to send over is now more worthless than the parchment paper that he's built his life upon.
Another day, another email. This time you decided to fix the typos. Congratulations. And you also told me you're fixing the typos. Very interesting thing for your legal department to say.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks. She is cooking him harder than the meal that her father cooked her in the first place that started all of this. I love how he proudly calls attention to fixing the typos. Like a student in class, like, excuse me, teacher, I fixed the spelling mistakes in the cursive. Fix the typos just in case you couldn't figure out. We're very serious about this issue, as your direct actions to intentionally harm to us. Oh my god, the grammar is diabolical as well. And our company is not being taken lightly. We expect action to be taken within 48 hours. See attached. It's probably a picture of Brandon Howard's butthole here going spread goatsy on her. So this is clearly, again, written by someone that is lacking a 4th grade education. Brandon, I think your first hire at parchmentpaper.com should be an English tutor for yourself here. This is bad. How you even attempt to run a business is beyond me. I guess they just let anyone into the parchment paper industry these days. But yeah, so Brandon again tries to strike back here, and again looks super dumb for it. But congrats on fixing the typos, idiot.
But your cease and desist at the bottom, I saw that it said rocketlawyer.com. So of course I had to call them and ask them, is this a real legal document? And they said no immediately, and they said this looks like a phishing scam and you should probably not respond.
Oh god, even rocketlawyer.com's shooting spitballs at Brandon now. Just saying that, no, it's definitely not real. It's probably a phishing scam. Don't respond to it. Oh, what do you use the parchment paper for, Brandon? Honestly, it's almost poetic that the guy who owns a paper business can't read or write very well. I think that's poetic almost.
Anyways, then you decided you're going to start using my work email, which is public, to sign me up for corn sites, for Scientology, but you forgot that those companies will actually send you the IP where the accounts were made from. And it's funny because it's pinging in California, and I'm not in California, so... But I do remember that on Trustpilot, when you had your address up, it was coming up in California. Suspicious, huh?
Brandon's out here collecting L's like they're the Infinity Stones. He is greedy for that shit. He can't stop losing. And I can't stop thinking about how he signed off that legal document about like having 48 hours to comply or whatever, trying to give it like a deadline, like this is the ultimatum. You've got to do it within 40 hours or else it's gonna get serious if you couldn't tell. That's just so lame. Like, I feel like he must have just watched Mission Impossible at some point. This message will self-destruct upon finishing. That kind of thing, and he tried to channel that into this document here to give like a sense of urgency, but it falls so flat.
But you want attention so freaking bad because you will not stop talking about this. You are basically the only one who is still talking about this at this point. Since my initial email to you where I thought your company was hacked, I have not tried to contact you. At first, you were laughing and sipping Mai Tais on the beach, and then you were having crybaby sales because this was drawing you so much attention.
So this video is only 3 days old, which is weeks after Brandon's biblical meltdown, and he's still going on about it. So this is a screenshot from his crybaby special, which, oh my god, the irony almost makes me sick. This fucking guy lacks self-awareness to an almost delusional degree. He is the only one that has been crying. He started with the waterworks and the French cries because he watched a girl get cooked a meal by her father. He is the crybaby, and yet he's still trying to push it on everyone else like they're the problem. Our thousands of real customers will appreciate this. On sale, custom dimensions on demand. Boy, howdy, Brandon. Custom dimension parchment paper? I'm out the door. I gotta get on that right now. All these real customers are probably just so excited by this. Nothing makes me believe in a company quite like them referring to their customers as the real customers. I'm sure there's probably dozens of them. Dozens.
Your fake legal letters were not working. You thought it would be a smart idea to reach out to my boss at the agency that I work for and ask him to remediate the situation for you. You thought you could tell my boss to tell me to delete my videos. Just because you involved your business by commenting from your business profile does not mean that you get to include my place of work.
Wait for a few more years.
Pathetic, slimy tactics from an absolute greaseball here. So he apparently contacts her boss to try and whine to him to fix it, which obviously didn't do anything. Brandon, this is so sad. This is so embarrassing.
When all of this failed, you thought it would be a great idea to send me one more email stating that you will deal with it as you see fit, whatever the hell that means. And then you decided to add this banner to your website. I'm sure you think that
this is when it gets so spicy. We do not support woke, feminist, cancel culture, hate mob groups who do nothing positive in our community. On his official parchmentpaper.com website, this guy has lost his marbles. He's off his gourd right now. He's going sicko mode. Brother, what are you even talking about? All she did was showcase your comments and made fun of you. What is the woke feminist cancel culture movement here? You made yourself look stupid and people clowned on you for it, rightfully so. You are the problem. And also, didn't you just try one of those cancel culture maneuvers by contacting her boss and her place of work to get her in trouble because of you and your beef with her? How can you lack self-awareness to this degree? It's almost criminal, I would say. It gives me the heebie-jeebies. So he's got this now proudly posted on his website at that point, and I also love how he says that she does nothing positive for the community. When you came out of nowhere, the negative Nancy just saying that she lives life on easy mode and has no skills and relies on her family's money, all just because she had a video of her father cooking for her. What are you talking about? What positive shit do you bring to the world, Brandon? Now, I will say that section right there is just so outlandish with the woke feminist cancel culture mob being on the paper's website. It's so over the top that I half believe that might actually be faked by somebody, and I also struggle to believe that Brandon would be competent enough to even put that on his website in the first place. I just don't think he has the capability to do that. And I really don't think he has a team around him. I think it's just him. So I think that one might not be real. But to argue against that point, his statements on the official Black Label Paper Instagrams echo that same sentiment about like the woke cancel culture mob and all of that shit. So there is a chance that it's real. There is a very good chance that it's real, but I do want to put it out there that I haven't been able to 100% confirm beyond a shadow of a doubt that it is, because as of right now, it's not on the website. but he could have just deleted it after backlash.
But you continue to talk about it, you continue to make stories about it, and you continually want the attention. As if all of this was not enough, you decided that you were going to start making all of your stories on your Black Label Paper account involving your other company now for no apparent reason. Take down another company, why don't you?
So this is his other business that he's now calling in off the bench for this drama. I cannot imagine why he thought that'd be a good idea, but it's Black Label Paper. So all of his businesses are parchment and paper related, and I would wager a guess that the quality of his product is most likely atrocious, probably not even like worthy to be toilet paper if I had to guess. So he goes, all you fucking losers need to stop messaging us about a fake TikTok account made by her and her dumb-ass minions because her fragile little ego couldn't handle a couple smart-ass comments on IG about skill set and money. I've never had the commie bullshit app TikTok in my entire life. A bold-faced lie. Also, why would you be posting this on your business account again? Like, your real customers that didn't know about any of this are now being made aware of it, and you look so weak and pathetic in all of it. And tell that little... Oh my god. Oh, what? Oh, I can't even read these. Holy shit. Fucking losers, I swear, it's been 2 weeks almost and still have to deal with this childish bullshit. You are the only one keeping it up, by the way. You are the only one that still is doing this and engaging with it. No one else is talking about it. This drama it's dried up. It's gone stale. But he keeps putting it on people's radar. He keeps serving this up on a plate to us. He's cooking it for us. And we're eating it. He's doing it. He's the chef. She is too immature to settle this privately, and I'm not going to let some woke hate mob ruin my reputation because they live in some mystical fairyland of make-believe and think because they have 20k followers they're doing something in life. Clown emojis. I also can't help but laugh at how much he keeps trying to throw out woke, cancel culture, all of that kind of shit. Just a bunch of buzzwords that don't even apply here.
You need to verify to do anything. If you can't verify, just do your video content. It's fine.
Shared his email where he doubled down
Streaming
on
is
it.
a very different
That's
thing
it.
when it comes
It's
to...
all his fault.
Especially
There's
kids shouldn't
nothing
do
else beyond
streaming,
that.
to be honest.
And he just can't accept it. He can't come to
If
terms
you don't
with
have the
reality
ability
because he
to
lives
get
in a
yourself to
mystical
be able to
fairyland.
stream, then you
Like,
shouldn't
he's in the fucking Narnia
in the first place.
Nobody else. It's just him. Here's another one
It's
of
a
his
bit
posts.
sad,
this time on a
but
really
yeah,
cute
just wait a few more
background.
years.
He talks about Business Insider and some articles reaching out for a comment. Some fragile ego wannabe
I'd follow the
influencer
rules.
IG about their lack of skill set and
You know the
frolicking through
rules.
life, where she got so
So
offended
do
and decided the woke hate
I.
mob smear campaign against me to get me canceled. Fake accounts were made by her
Long
delusional
as you
woke
have to
followers. He just keeps
breathe.
sprinkling that in there as much as possible, just
You
trying
will never
desperately.
be giving
I
up
cleared up the
on
reality of the situation with all three media
the
outlets. It didn't fit their
day.
narrative either, which was to further extend the adult children drama. God. So after 9 years in business,
Just
3 business
keep all
publications
this
don't
thing
care
in
about
your
the good I've
mind
done and the help I give to people on a
that
daily
you
fucking
will
basis. Yeah, I'm sure your
always be
parchment isn't
here.
valuable. I'm sure you're doing a great service. You really seem like a stand-up gentleman. Their entire goal is just to hate people who try and do good. You really seem like you're striving to do good, Brandon. You really fucking do, brother. Yeah. What a saint. They demand respect, yet do absolutely nothing to earn it, and hate every person who doesn't bend over for their spineless agenda. If you're going to try and shit on me, my brand, business, and companies, you losers need a job, hobby, life outside of TikTok. Fucking losers in their 20s with an 11-year-old intelligence, but yeah, I'm the asshole. Yeah, you are the asshole, Brandon. Also, you're the one with the 11-year-old intelligence. You can't even read and write properly. You tried to make a legal department, like to cosplay as a legal department, and couldn't even get the emails correctly. Typos out the wazoo, and even in the ones where you fix the typos and even proudly proclaim that you fix the typos, you still make a typo. You suck. Like, you are the one with the child brain.
Sure what your end game here is, and I'm not even sure that you know what your end game here is, but in your own words, I don't have time to bicker back and forth about some nonsense comments, nor is it my problem that you're offended over them.
Yeah, that about sums that up. I think she did a great job of just closing the book on it with that final statement there. Fucking fire. I think this whole drama has been so wacky, like entertainingly silly, all over nothing. It started over nothing. Just a really insecure, sensitive guy who lost his mind and couldn't help but do as much damage to him and his business's reputation. And very impressive stuff. I had to talk about this when I learned about it. Huge thanks to Pinely for showing me this, because this is gold. This is some of that, like, top tier drama. You know what I mean? So I had to talk about it. That's about it. See ya. Have you ever heard of Andy Owen? Well, you're about to. I'm gonna drag you kicking and screaming in front of an Andy Owen original here with this big meltdown that she had on video where she made an absolute fool of herself. Now, Andy Owen is the head of Miller Knoll, which is the company most famous for their Herman Miller chairs. They're high-end chairs, and with the way people talk about them, I have to imagine that shit is made out of like unicorn hide or something. Like, it is actually fucking sewn with angel's tears. It must be so fucking comfortable with the way people rant about how amazing they are. I've never seen them, I've never tried them, so I don't really have a horse in that race on whether or not Herman Miller chairs are worth their price or whatever. But all I can tell you is Andy Owen is not worth her salary because she just embarrassed that whole company. In a nutshell, she had a video come out that surfaced where she was telling the employees that they need to stop worrying about not receiving company bonuses. They need to just do the work and everything's going to be all right. They need to focus instead on hitting their company's $26 million sales goal, and that's all that matters. Fuck bonuses, who cares? Meanwhile, she's getting a nearly like $4 million bonus herself. So the employee bonuses are kaput, but hers is still just fine. And her video is just so bad. And it was so bad, in fact, that she has already released an apology. In an email sent to employees, she said, "I want to be transparent and empathetic, and as I continue to reflect on this instance, I feel terrible that my rallying cry seemed insensitive. What I'd hoped would energize the team to meet a challenge we've met many times before landed in a way that I did not intend, and for that I am sorry. Nothing will lessen the power and strength of our collective team. My appreciation for each of you is huge, and I will continue to do everything I can to help us meet our shared goals. Thank you for your hard work, your grace, and for the commitment you show to one another and our company every single day." This is a big nothing burger. This is actual garbage. Like, as far as apologies go, this is about as insincere as it gets. This is corporate PR speak. It's not like she was giving a rallying cry. She literally just started vomiting, just diarrheaing out cliches and just worthless platitudes to her employees before getting visibly angry that her employees were upset about not getting a bonus, and then even told them to leave Pity City. So it's all stupid here. This apology is trash.
The most important thing we can do right now is focus on the things that we can control. None of us could have predicted COVID. None of us could have predicted supply chain. None of us could have predicted bank failures. But what we can do is stay in front of our customers, provide the best customer service.
Maybe I should really understand the situation beforehand. So this right now sounds like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation with axing the bonuses last minute. After telling employees to leave Pity City over lack of bonuses. Damn. Actually dropped an unironic welcome to the wambulance. How about a side of French fries? Jesus Christ. CEO of the high-end furniture company is sparking backlash over video in which she exhorts employees to leave Pity City. After some asked about staying motivated in the absence of a company bonus, Andy Owen, whose company Miller Knoll sells the iconic Herman Miller Aeron chair, along with other upscale furniture, responded in a 1 minute 21 second clip. Okay, this is all about the clip. What's like the actual situation though? So it looks like she got a multi-million-dollar bonus and canceled all of the employees' bonuses. Okay. Is there any reasoning at all beforehand? Any like prerequisite lore I need to be familiar with? Doesn't seem like it. Also, Herman Miller chairs I know are like the holy grail of comfort for people. Matt, for example, can't stop talking about Herman Miller chairs. But I've never seen nor tried one.
Service we can. Get our orders out our door. Treat each other well. Be kind. Be respectful. Focus on the future because it will be bright. It's not good to be in a situation we're in today, but we're not going to be here forever. It is going to get better. So lead.
So many platitudes so quickly.
Treat people well. Talk to them. Be kind and get after it. Don't ask about what are we going to do if you don't get a bonus.
Oh yeah, she's starting to get a little animated. She's literally just regurgitating the biggest fucking cliches of all time. Everything she said there was nothing but buzzword nonsense. Jesus Christ. It reminds me of that clip from that streamer who's like, Why don't we just throw ourselves off a bridge? The world is dying. The animals are leaving. And that's okay because all we need is ourselves. And do you really need anything else? Or whatever. And then it goes into the Call of Duty montage. What was that speech again? That's up there with like some of the greats, like we choose to go to the moon. I think it was Invader Vice. I think she was the one that said it, right? Oh, here it is. The planet is dying. The government hates us. The animals are leaving. The aliens aren't contacting us. We might be alone, but that's okay because do you really need anyone else? And then 30 Seconds to Mars starts playing. There we go. Found it. I just didn't feel like getting DMCA'd by 30 Seconds to Mars. Jared Leto coming in.
Get the damn $26 million. Spend your time and your effort thinking about the $26 million we need and not thinking about what you're going to do if we don't get a bonus. All right? Can I get some commitment for that? I would appreciate that.
Damn, she's popping
I had
off.
an old boss who said to me one time,
She's getting
you
upset.
can visit Pity City, but you can't live there. So
Still,
people
at the end,
leave
all
Pity
this
City,
talk. All this talk. You're still the one that got, only one that got the bonus, okay?
Let's get it done.
Okay.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Damn. Welcome to Shitty City, population Andy Owens. God, good lord. I mean, I think it's totally reasonable, like, hey, can we have our bonuses? And also, why do you get a huge bonus? It seems like she doesn't even have a reason for withholding bonuses or canceling them or whatever. She's like, yeah, there's no bonuses. She doesn't understand people can't even afford to live in Pity City. True, I guess. Not without these bonuses. I also love someone in her position pretending like she's out there making the chairs. Like, alright, it's time we bring ourselves up by our own bootstraps here and start really getting to work on those chairs, alright? We don't need to focus on these bonuses, we just gotta put our head down and do it. As if she's out there with like a fucking wrench and screwdriver. I've talked about tons of evil companies and industries over the years, but the one I want to talk about today makes Umbrella Corp from Resident Evil look like Weenie Hut Jr. Health insurance. Now, I've ranted and raved about health insurance on stream quite a few times, way before the big thing that happened recently. And I'll just be clear up front that I'm not here to talk too much about Brian Thompson getting banished to the Shadow Realm. I'm here to talk mainly about health insurance itself and how corrupt and malicious it is, as well as the United Health Group CEO Andrew Whitty's video that he made about the response to this whole thing. So to be clear, Brian Thompson was the CEO of United's insurance division. Andrew Whitty is the CEO of United Health Group.
I'm sure everybody has been disturbed by the amount of negative and in many cases vitriolic media and commentary that has been produced over the last few days, particularly in the social media environment.
Yeah, mean words are so much more disturbing than an entire business model that revolves around making oodles of cash off the corpses of your clients as you knowingly deny coverage for life-saving medical treatment for those individuals that have been paying you for so long for the single purpose of you stepping in to help in an emergency situation. Then when that unfortunate time arises, it's just crickets and radio silence and then like a giant stamp of denied from United. Here's a nice little graph that helps showcase how efficient these health insurance providers have become at denying your claims.
Yeah, worst thing is like after this, there's like that, you know, big ass like forest fire happens, and then the insurance just denied everyone. They just decided to, yep, this is natural disaster. So yeah,
It's no
deny everyone.
surprise why people hate health insurance. It's not a political issue like a lot of people are trying to make it. You can see some of the usual suspects on YouTube saying things like, oh, the lefties are celebrating the death of this healthcare CEO, an innocent man just looking to put food on the table for his families. And if you look at the comments, it doesn't matter what side of the political spectrum you're on, everyone has been fucked equally by health insurance. They are the Thanos level threat to human beings' survival. Everybody knows somebody, and you may even be the victim yourself, that has been denied by their health insurance provider, because the whole purpose of the health insurance business model is you pay them for a long period of time to do a single task for you, which is help in an emergency situation, and their goal is to find ways out of doing that task you pay them for, to fuck you in the face, literally just let people croak because they don't want to pay the money to cover those procedures that could save someone's life. They make money off normal people dying, and normal people are paying them for the service. It is so fucked up.
And I want to reassure you of a few things. Firstly, we are going to continue to make sure that we put patients, consumers, and members first, as we always have done.
What? Pardon? I must not have heard him right. There's no way Mr. Krabs just tried to sit there with a straight face looking like my wrinkled nutsack saying that United has always put members, consumers, and patients first. What? I mean, oh, maybe he meant like putting them first in the ground after they deny the life-saving medical treatment that they were looking for. Maybe that's what he meant. I'm not entirely sure, but there's no way he actually tried to say that United puts the patients first, right? There's no way. I mean, you could just look at the data. 33% of all claims being denied? Like, in what universe does he think anyone's going to believe that? Everybody has been affected by this. It's not like this is some big secret. Everyone knows how fucking foul the health insurance industry is, and United is the worst offender. Like, here, I'll do actual footage of the United CEO anytime one of its clients die after a denied claim. Man, I just broke that. Man, look what you made me do, Andrew. Look what you made me do.
The mission of this company is truly to make sure that we help the system improve by helping the experience for individuals get better and better.
Mission failed then, Andrew, in the biggest possible way. And the response that you're seeing to all this should be a pretty clear indication that every single human being on the planet that has been cursed with United health insurance coverage feels that the experience has only gotten worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse as you have made more and more and more and more and more and more doubloons off of denying claims. Hey, real quick, Andrew, can you go ahead and put on your reading glasses and take a peek at this for me? Look at this chart and tell me exactly whose experience has been getting better? Because it's not the normal American that has to have health insurance. It seems more like it might just be United Health Group itself. I'll quickly take a moment to play in the pig pen and tackle the most brain dead that are trying to justify or defend the health insurance companies. Like, I couldn't imagine anything more pathetic than doing free PR for health insurance of all things, but there are those absolute worms out there doing that in the trenches right now. I see a lot of people making the comparison that a health insurance provider denying a claim is not the same as killing someone. It's fundamentally doing that. If someone's coming to their health insurance that they've been paying for how many years, and they are looking for coverage for a very expensive medical procedure, and they say no, and that person dies because they no longer could afford that medical procedure that would have saved their life, then that is the insurance provider fundamentally killing that person. And the comparison that some of the pseudo-intellectual enlightened super dweebs on Twitter are comparing it to is saying like, oh, well, if someone needs a kidney and you're not on the kidney donor list, so you don't give them a kidney, did you murder that person? Shouldn't even really need to explain why that's absolute dog shit, but I'll go ahead and do it anyway. Was that person paying you for years and years with the sole purpose of you donating that kidney to them should they need it? Probably not. They weren't a client or anything like that. Like, not being a kidney donor is completely different than being a health insurance provider who is paid for a sole task, and then they do everything they can to not do that task. And then when someone dies as a result of their refusal to do that task they have been paid for, that is the health insurance provider having a big hand in that person's demise. Another pretty obvious difference here is that giving a kidney is an extremely big deal. Like, that is a risky thing to the person who does it, whereas in health insurance, The only risk in paying for someone's medical procedure is that your shareholders might not get as many millions of dollars because now you might actually have to start doing what people are paying you for. If there is a chance that United Health paying for a medical procedure means they can't afford to pay for someone else's, then they shouldn't be in business in the fucking first place. It means they're trash at what they're supposed to be doing. They're being paid by everyone to do this task of covering their medical procedures when they need it. And if they can't afford to do that, they should not be around.
There was nobody who did more to try and advance that mission than Brian Thompson. And there are very few people in the history of the US healthcare industry who had a bigger positive effect on American healthcare than Brian.
Hey, come back to reality. Andrew, we're losing you. You're fading into Narnia right now. What are you talking about, man? Making tens of millions of dollars at a company that leads the nation in denied health insurance claims is not pushing the industry in any positive direction for normal Americans, man.
And we are going to make sure that we not only acknowledge and honor that legacy of Brian, but we will continue it.
That's right, everyone. We are going to be pushing for 50% denied claims next year in honor of this mission. It's a lofty goal, but I think we can deny even more claims come 2025. So mark your calendars. 2025 is United's year. We're making history. Half of all claims will be denied. Mark my words. Like, this isn't something to get excited about, man. The mission has just been growing your profits while denying more claims. So you proudly announcing that you're going to be continuing that mission is about as painful as you coming out and saying that you're going to continue waterboarding me. Like, why would I be pumping my fist about that? The only one that gets excited there is your shareholders.
Our role is a critical role, and we make sure that care is safe, appropriate, and is delivered when people need it. And we guard against the pressures that exist for unsafe care or for unnecessary care to be delivered in a way which makes the whole system too complex and ultimately unsustainable.
What is sustainable, though, is all of that growth United keeps experiencing. That's what really matters. We need to make sure that is sustained. This is garbage, man. This is actual just baloney. He's just blabbering about nothing. It's a yappuccino trying to spin this as like them trying to do something good. It's not. What Andrew and his company deem unnecessary care is completely unreasonable oftentimes, where it is very necessary for the patient to stay alive. Well, we denied this claim because we felt it was unnecessary, because we did a cost-benefit analysis and we concluded that the patient was going to die in 60 years anyway. So what's really the point in spending all this money to keep them alive now when they're just going to kick the bucket in, a couple of decades?
So we're going to continue to make that case. We will continue to do the work we do. And I have never been more proud of this company and our colleagues and what this company does on behalf of people in need across the country.
You would really think with what
I'm just
here,
playing all this thing
like
in the
Andrew,
background.
And I don't believe that he's even really human anymore. I believe he has sold his soul many years ago.
I'm doing
it's
my
just
work.
This hollow husk that's only filled with money. But you would still think at some point the neurons would fire in his noodle and he'd see this response and be like, that mission, about helping people, kind of failed at that, didn't we? Maybe we should do something different.
Yeah,
but
thank you very much.
He hasn't even had that realization. Or maybe he has and he just doesn't care, which is the more likely explanation. But you would just truly think that the reality would set in like, oh, people fucking hate us. People are awake to how exploitative we are and how we are actively making their lives harder.
I encourage you to tune out that critical noise that we're hearing right now. It does not reflect reality. It is simply a sign of an era in which we live.
Great advice. All those people talking about how corrupt this industry is, yes, please plug your ears to that so that way you don't actually hear from the victims of our business model. We don't want you to start feeling sympathy for the numbers on our bottom line, all right? We need to make sure that we don't look at them as anything real. They're just imaginary NPCs for our money, and we like that money, don't we? It's just so crazy. It's so crazy. He's saying that it doesn't reflect reality. Brother, that is the reality. These are your clients that are coming out and sharing their experiences. It doesn't get any more real than that. As opposed to your fucking barnacles that you're vomiting out here, that is the fraudulent fakeness. The reality is that people have been fucked by your health insurance company and plenty of others. The industry is rotten to its very core, and people know that, which is why this isn't some big political issue of left and right. Everyone is united in how hard they have been fucked and how many times they have seen people be affected negatively by this industry, and this guy just refuses to let that set in, and he's trying to brainwash his employees to just be numb to it and pay no attention to it.
What we must do is focus on what we know to be true, and what we know to be true is that the health system needs a company like United Health Group, and it needs people like Brian within it. We're fortunate that within this company, we have so many people driven and inspired in the same way that Brian was. And
you know, the funniest thing is like about this, like all this like insurance thing.
Everybody who needs it within the health environment.
It's just crazy. I know I don't
all this thing just happens, and they are trying their best to recover the PR of like being like, we are good insurance company, and then the California fire happened. They'll be like, we just denied everyone insurance. Yes, we found a way. This loophole, this is the best loophole we can have. We denied every single one insurance. Yes, you hear it right. We denied every single one of their insurance.
It's an accolade
and we are proud of that.
Super proud of, and something to be excited about. It's just frightening. It's actually just frightening. So yeah, I wanted to rant about health insurance a little bit. That's it. See ya. Whenever I see a massive company start to show signs of failure and going down the path of collapse, I'm often reminded of the late great Blockbuster, God rest its soul, the pioneer who really did it first, a company deemed too big to fail, snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. And
it already happened a long time ago.
Other companies that have gone down a similar path, and right now there is a new one pulling a blockbuster, Niji Sanji. Whether or not you're a huge Vtuber fan, you're at least familiar with the industry. Vtubing is huge, and it has been for years now. It's worth
surprisingly
hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions. And in this space, there are two agencies that stand atop the others as kind of the titans of the space. It's HoloLive and Niji Sanji. Now, Niji Sanji has an English branch that right now is going through one of the most foul displays of mismanagement, cruelty, and just downright terrible business practice I've seen in quite some time. It's a real head scratcher because every single day they continue to dig themselves a deeper and deeper hole. It's like this company is run by a Voltorb that is obsessed with using the move self-destruct. It is just bent on burying itself. So I definitely wanted to talk about
the
it
place
now
that
I'm
keep
fully
on
caught
giving.
up on the situation. There is so much to go over. There's a really good video that breaks down like the main timeline here for what happened. It comes from Vgen. I'll go ahead and play the main catalyst for this, and then I'm going to actually turn to a series of Reddit comments that were left that I think go over the entire history of the Niji Sanji problems that have come to light, and then fast forward to what just happened last night, where an even bigger controversy just unfolded. So there really is a lot to cover, and all of it's looking terrible for Niji Sanji, the English branch that is. Now, when I first was made aware of this on stream a little while ago, I said that I'm not even surprised by it because a lot of these VTuber agencies have a history of some very terrible things going on behind the scenes. Many of you know I started my own agency for YouTubers and streamers a while back called Human Media Group. We recently merged with Jimmy Here's group and became Mana Talent Group. And over the years, I've actually seen a couple of these VTuber contracts that they were formerly under. And it is downright evil what some of them were doing to the talent that they manage. I obviously can't get into the specifics of it, but it is some horrible stuff, that some really bad stories and bad things that we saw from that. But even being familiar with some of the horror stories that we'd learned over the years from some agencies, I
feel like such a dead horse right now, is it? Because here's the thing, they keep screwing up every single month. Like, I don't know what this month they actually screw up. I do know last month that something actually did happen again. This month is the most quietest month for Niji Sanji. Yes, this month is ironically the most silent month about Niji Sanji news. It's weird. It's like to the point you'll be like, it's quiet. Too quiet. Those kind of level of quiet, you know.
I was shocked to see just how bad Niji Sanji was here. So I want to focus more on the most recent stuff that just happened, but I still would like to give you a foundation for what started all of it. So for that, I'll turn to this clip from Mugen's video that breaks down this whole situation and just give you the catalyst. This was the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, fundamentally, that kicked off this world war against Niji Sanji, all of which they brought upon themselves by being just complete, unreasonable, evil assholes.
It all started on Christmas Day, a day you're meant to enjoy with family. It couldn't have gone worse. The trigger for this entire catastrophe? A music video. Selen had worked on a music video for her fans. She paid $15,000 out of her own pocket because Niji Sanji wouldn't fund it. And on top of not funding it, what do? They take down the video in under 24 hours. No explanation to the public. Remember what I said about corporations and how they have access to all social media of their VTubers? Yeah, that's what happened, and she couldn't do anything about it. All she could realistically do under the very tight contracts and NDAs of a corporation is make up a vague tweet, sort of explaining what's going on to her fans.
Selen was a VTuber that was very popular and was with Niji Sanji's English branch.
Hearing that name become like very ancient.
Super involved in her community. She called them Dragoons. And she wanted to do a special music video for the community and paid $15,000 out of her own pocket to make it happen for the fans. And she posted it, thinking that it was totally okay to do because she self-funded it when Niji Sanji declined to, but they made a big stink about it and took the video down, even though she had permission for the song that was used and even though it came from her own piggy bank instead of theirs. They didn't like that it didn't get the proper approval through the internal management. Because the way Niji Sanji runs their company, it's with a fucking iron fist. You need permission to fart on stream as a VTuber under that agency.
And then look at legal mindset. Like last time, talk about like Niji Sanji around the time. Like look at the pre-edit content. Like, is it like pre-edit contract? Yeah, like the pre-edit contract thingy. They actually control you farting in the stream. I'm not even kidding. Like all the contract is so vague to the point. Long as it's under the entertainment, if you accidentally farted in the stream and then it was heard in the mic, and if the CEO, if anyone in the high up just doesn't like it, they can fire you using that as a clause. Because in a way, you can consider as entertainment, but if they don't like that part about the entertainment stuff, they can use it as a legit reason to fire you. If they don't like you. See like how much power they have like under like all their like everyone like under them. So is that ridiculous? And not just that, like they can just give the most vague reasons to fire you, and then afterward they can because they fire because they are the one who terminate you. So you are not the one who doing the graduation stuff. They are the one who terminate you. You have to pay every single thing back. So they did not just fire you. They want you to pay everything back: the computer's fee, your game library's fee, your model fee, your anything that you have been working for the entire, I think like 2-3 years within in Niji Sanji, and then you have to pay everything back. So essentially, you did not just lose a job, you lose everything. And it can literally come out by just farting in the stream, and then he just doesn't like you and use it as a clause and then just fire you. Again, because they fired you, they need you to compensate everything, Not just compensate everything in twofold, sometimes 3-5-fold. It's ridiculous. It's scarily ridiculous. Like every single thing. Anyone look at the contract, the first thing I do is rip it up. Like holy shit, who doesn't not see that thing and then question it? Like here's the thing. Some people might not understand why people didn't aware that entertainment industry contract, especially in the Asia country, is really, really bad, and as triple the fact that all the K-pop industry or the J-pop or any idol industry is even more horrendous than the standard entertainment industry. The reason is, I think I already talked about it. Back in the days, jingle. It's like entertainment industry is very, very linked with crime syndicate back in the days. Yeah, I'm not even kidding or joking about it. It's like if you study a little bit, back in the days, like Hong Kong, like entertainment industry, you look into it, it's like I think it's like 50 or 60 years ago, that most of the, it's like 90% of the entertainment industry run in Hong Kong back in the days is practically run by crime syndicate. And even back then, before Hollywood, is basically run by a legit businessman which hired gang member to destroy like each other opponent filming crew, like camera set. I'm not even kidding. They literally will bring guns to shoot the camera. It was that, like it was that level. And then people like had enough, like on the Jersey area, so they moved all the things to Hollywood. So that's how Hollywood become a thing. So literally, I can say, like, back in the days, it's really, entertainment industry is literally Wild West. There is no law like regulate against any entertainment stuff at all. Even right now, the copyright system is just barely functioning. And when it comes to like being lawless, entertainment industry still can do anything they want, especially on the contract wise things. Why the contract is so horrible again is like very, very predatory, is because they are still following the traditions around back in the days. Is just literally was run by crime syndicate. Obviously they are going to get all the power. Why people don't question those contract? Because it become like a casual thing, you know. You don't question entertainment industry contract because you might get your life threatened if you ask too many things. And that's the gist of it. This is why even now the entertainment industry contract is still so horrendous, is because back in the day it was horrendous. You cannot ask any question about it. So things just work that way. And as things carry on, obviously not a lot of crime syndicate is going to they're not going to stay forever. So things become more faded out, independent. But most of the things that kind of established within those time has kind of carry over, that passed down to generation to generations. So this is why the entertainment industry still in a way kind of very fucked up. And that there's still things that still quite linked to the crime syndicate stuff with the entertainment industry, at least in the background. They're not running it in the foreground anymore. But still, yeah, this is why the predatory stuff is still there. Is there for reasons, and it's a very, very scary reasons. Yeah.
And since she didn't get all of the proper channels to sign off on it, they took it down, which of course was a huge hit to Selin and her community because they worked very hard on that project. So she made a vague statement explaining that, well, management took it down, but she actually encouraged her community to re-upload it across the platform because she wanted it to live on. And she assumed that would be okay because, you know, it's not on her channel anymore, so they shouldn't have a problem with it. But they did. This soured relations between Selin and Niji Sanji, and behind the scenes it led to a lot of harassment and bullying from Niji Sanji against Selin.
Because out of nowhere, on December 27th, she tweets on her account, "I apologize for the silence. I've been in the hospital after an accident and will be staying there for a few days to be under supervision. I just got back access to my phone yesterday." Now, of course, people were happy she was out of the hospital, but the concern was still there. It was very vague and people didn't know what was going on. The Selin Tatsuki termination notice. "I will not be silenced anymore. On December, I was hospitalized for an attempt that was caused by a buildup of bullying from within and being in a toxic and poor environment for numerous months that led to my breaking point. I requested to leave first, but on more neutral terms on the 26th of January.
Obviously, I chopped this up and Frankenstein together this little segment to give you a very concise timeline. So, Selin made a post about how she's going to need to take some time away after an accident that landed her in the hospital. Everything was very vague. Eventually she explains that she's been discharged from the hospital, and then shortly thereafter, Niji Sanji English branch announced the termination of Selin Tatsuki. The termination letter is very poorly explained as to why she's exactly being fired. Now, when it comes to VTubers, there's two ways that departing a company goes. One is a graduation stream where they graduate from the company and it means that they are leaving on
to be
good
honest,
terms.
like
So
every
they have,
single
a big
time
send-off,
when I talk
farewells.
about this, like how dark the entertainment industry is in background, like even nowadays when I mention about it, people are still shocked that knowing that holy shit, that is entertainment industry back in the days. Yeah, it is, and it's a freaking scary place. Even now, it's still a scary place. Hold on a bit. I think I need to refresh the chat a little bit. Phone chat, yes. Go ahead, refresh. Okay, good. Yeah, it doesn't read like for some reason it just suddenly like stopped reading like YouTube chat for no reasons. Yeah, my friend just sent me a message. Be like, careful, you don't want to get stabbed suddenly.
Stream, and that's the end of it. Sail off into the sunset, sunshine and rainbows. It's a happy ending. You get the good ending. Or there's this, where you just get publicly terminated and just fucking slapped down by the company like this. And in this case, obviously Selin got the latter, where they just said, she's gone. Now, if you're not familiar with VTubing, when you sign with an agency like Niji Sanji, they basically own you. They give you your VTuber avatar, they own all of your socials, your channels, everything. You are unable to operate with any type of autonomy. You are under their thumb, and they basically own all of it. So she lost access to everything here, and she actually didn't even know she was being terminated. She found out when this tweet dropped. They didn't even notify her. And the tweet, again, is very poorly explaining things. They talk about Selin like it's a fucking IKEA furniture tutorial on how to put it together. It's just like talking about a bunch of nonsense about authorization flows not making sense and whatever. And then they cite like the music video and how when she made the tweet that management took it down, it damaged their brand and caused problems for them, this and that. It was just fucking stupid, a bunch of dirty barnacles. And then Selin went to her original account, her original brand of Doki Bird, to explain what actually happened. is that due to the harassment and bullying and the toxic environment Niji Sanji created, she made an attempt on her own life and landed in the hospital. Luckily, she survived and is still with us today, but she no longer would be silenced by this company and bullied into being silent, so she started to explain what happened behind the scenes that led to all of this stress and all of these problems. She lawyered up and is engaged in now a legal battle with Niji Sanji, presumably, that is being worked on.
Oh yeah, I wonder like what happened to the lawyer
this
thing.
Really started. That's when the floodgates opened.
Nobody knows the
And
end
with all
of
this
it, right?
information out there now, people were able to go back to some previous Niji Sanji talent with a finer tooth comb and see that the signs of a sinking ship had been there for quite a while. Signs of a company that mistreats its employees, signs of a company that is mismanaged and just downright diabolical behind closed doors. And I want to go over that because we have a lore master in the comments section of a live stream fails clip that I think does an extraordinary job of just laying all of this information out. So our guide is Weebshitter69. a great name for a great philosopher. So Weebshitter starts by explaining what Niji Sanji is and how big Niji Sanji is, and then takes us back to the past. March 10th, 2023, one of Niji Sanji's newer talents, Zion Lanza, was terminated, which again is being fired, publicly, and then put out this bullet point list of the infractions that they accrued. And at the time, people sided with Niji Sanji, but then stated that the way they handled it was a little unprofessional, especially coming from a multi-million-dollar company, and just overall not great. But since Zion no longer had access to their accounts, she returned to her original account that she had before joining, which was Sayu Synchronicity. Now, if you've followed this story for a while, you've probably seen this meme tossed around about Sayu was right, or Sayu trying to warn us, and this is what they're referring to. On that account, she revealed more information about her own experiences inside the company, hinting at a toxic environment, incompetent management and bullying, stealth suspensions, etc. And she further stated that she hopes other talent realize their own worth and that they deserve better. Some people sided with Sayu, but most didn't at the time. Then in May of 2023, Selin Tatsuki hosts a contest letting her fans design her next outfit. Niji Sanji management tried to put a stop to the very act of compensating the artists for their designs, while also trying to assert that artists who enter the contest should hand over the rights to the artwork for free. Selin refuses this notion and pays the winners out of her own pocket instead. She, a while after that, hinted that management no longer allowed her to organize events anymore, which sounds about par for the course for a company like Niji Sanji, where July 8th of 2023, Nina Kosaka graduated, meaning they left on good terms, had a farewell stream, but then comes back later with VShojo, which is another VTuber agency, as Matara Khan. That information will be pertinent later. August 27th of 2023, Mista Rias also graduates, saying that he was burnt out and no longer had any drive, and reappeared shortly after as K9 Kudo as the first male VTuber in VShojo. Again, information that'll be in...
Here's the thing, I think Mista is like the only and will be forever the only male in VShojo. Unless they open a brand new branch, it's called Vishonen. Else it's not going to be possible to have another dude in Vshoujo.
Important here soon. Once they settled in, statements from both of them saying how surprised they were that management in VShojo were actually helping them achieve their creative aspirations started.
Yeah, so far I heard that actually the texting is like completely is his fault stuff. So like for Michi1 is actually get screwed over by the what again? Niji Sanji. But Mr. One actually I remember he just didn't know how text work and then like accidentally like made things worse. So yeah, like that one. Michi one is like she got like completely screwed over by Niji Sanji.
Started to come out
because they keep telling Michi like, oh, don't worry about the tax, we will handle it, and then in the end they say, oh, don't worry about the tax, we will handle it on our end. Yours one, we never handle it. Who say I handle it? I keep saying I will handle the tax. I'm not saying I will handle your tax.
And how they finally feel like they have worth after being repeatedly told by some that they did not, strongly echoing Sayu's previous statements, even revealing that they did not receive the YouTube plaques on their own channels during their time in Nijisanji, but rather that the company kept them. So Nijisanji kept the plaques from the YouTube channels, meaning the 100,000 subscriber play button or the gold play button for 1 million. The talent didn't even see that, which is just such a scummy thing to do, obviously. Now, while Sayu was a relatively new member of Nijisanji at the time, Nina and Mista were considered cornerstone, thus the tides started to slowly turn. And then they jump a bit forward in the timeline, and that's when they fast forward to the Selen Christmas catastrophe with the music video that got taken down by management. And then in January, with the departure of Pomu Rainpuff, more people started to wonder how bad things were at Nijisanji. Pomu Rainpuff was one of their biggest VTubers and shocked everyone when they announced their graduation in January. And it was even more shocking when people didn't hear from Selen since they were friends. So that's when people started to worry about her safety. And then in February, another liver named Kyo Kaneko announced the graduation, which again brought the community into an uproar, wondering, why is there so many people departing all at once here? Is there like a waiting list, like this fucking purgatory or something with people waiting to go to the other side? And then on February 5th, Nijisanji released that termination notice. And that's when Doki Bird talked about what actually happened with her hospitalization following her unalive attempt that was built up from the stress that Nijisanji put upon her. And a lot of information started to come out, both from artists and other people who had previously worked with them, claiming that working with Nijisanji was never very good. There was delay in payments, NDAs being sent multiple times with the wrong name, just so many different things. But Selen had always paid the artists out of her own pocket during this period of turmoil while trying to work with Nijisanji. And following all of this new information coming to light, the public was understandably outraged, because this is just some deplorable garbage. The dam broke and they were flooded with tons and tons of angry fans. The tornado blew through and picked up 500 septic tanks, and the shitstorm that came with it was something that Nijisanji couldn't have possibly predicted. So Nijisanji's stakeholders started to suffer. They lost several sponsorships because of all of this. Apparently their stock price, like their valuation or whatever, started to plummet as well. It was a huge hit to their company, and it only continues to get worse by the day. So
even now,
spent like
it's still getting worse.
$250,000 of her own money on projects throughout the last year there, so she made no profit. And a very interesting piece of information that people brought up is that in December of 2022, Mista Rios had a slip of the tongue revealing that talent only gets 1% of merch sales, and other reports stating that it was a whole 2%. And this serves to showcase that Nijisanji doesn't just harass and bully their talent directly, they also financially fuck them. That is downright criminal. Only giving 1 or 2%, if they're feeling gracious enough, of merch sales to the talent is mind-boggling. And I saw a couple people defending this, and let me just go ahead and take you in real quick, because it looks like you blew in from Stupidville. That is unacceptable. Yes, the VTubers here don't actually own their avatar or anything. That does belong to Nijisanji, and they signed the contract and agreed to that. But without them, that merch doesn't move. They are still the sole force for why that merch sells in the first place, thus should be compensated fairly. If they don't make that tweet about the merch being available, if they don't talk about it on stream, 0 people buy it. And to only give them a 1 or at most 2% cut of that is just laughably pathetic, and it's just depraved, really. And this also led to a meme that you've probably seen if you've been keeping up with it, about how Nijisanji's CEO was too busy on his yacht that he built on the back of his talent through exploiting them financially. It comes from this
Japanese Jack Doherty
information, where apparently the CEO had flexed that he
But
had
at
a
least he
yacht
did
that he
stream.
recently purchased or something. I didn't look into that too deeply, but I keep seeing that pop up everywhere with people citing different sources for it. I believe that that's probably something that happened because they are legitimately just exploiting their talent here. This is a completely unacceptable split. Under no circumstances should this be allowed. That is crazy. And what's even crazier is I know they're not the only
Man, my
ones
friend
that
sent
do
me
that
another
to their
message
talent.
again.
In the VTuber space, I have seen some very unfair deals.
He said,
Now,
careful,
not this bad.
don't get
I
sued
will
by
say
Ninja
this is
Sanji.
exceptionally horrible. But I wasn't surprised to learn that when I first saw that they take 98% of merch sales, because these VTuber agencies look for every possible way, at least the contracts I've seen from some of them, to squeeze every dime possible out of that talent while not letting them get the lion's share most of the time. I'm having to tiptoe around this a little bit because I don't want to get in any hot water with it. But yeah, it fucking sucks. That is awful. Now back to the Weeb Shitter archives here. Weeb Shitter then talks about what happened last night, which is what I want to talk about as well. So the clip that he is referring to is Doki Bird was streaming. She has now come back to streaming, trying to, you know, just have a good time with her community again, and things are going extremely well. She went from 10,000 subs to now over 500,000 subscribers. Her first stream back had over 100k concurrent. Absolutely fucking crushing it. And last night,
Even
during
now,
her
she's still
stream, which was
absolutely
her first
crushing it.
gaming stream since being back,
Good for
she
her.
had to end it early because fellow livers Alira Pandora, who'd been quiet since the announcement of Selen's termination, started a stream at the same time called A Message from Niji Sanji. And during the stream, she was joined by other Niji Sanji VTubers, Ike Eveland and Vox Akuma. Both of them were thought to be friends of Selen, or Doki Bird, and they read a totally not scripted message expressing how sad and betrayed they felt that Selen had given out personal information like...
But here's the thing, like, especially on this particular one, is I feel bad for like the rest of the people that have to like do that video. I am guaranteed sure they were forced. Because again, if you don't listen to Niji Sanji, you will get fired. No question asked. So I think it's a 100% is actually Niji Sanji's, not a 100%, but 99% sure. It's Niji Sanji like want them to say all this kind of shit.
Real names and other required information about livers in her legal document that she sent over to Niji Sanji, and some of them stating that they had thoroughly read through it, as well as presenting Discord snippets between Selen and management when it was presented by them, thinking that it would absolve them. Now, I truly believe that Niji Sanji forced them to make this video. I think that they were 100% pressured into making this statement. I don't think the VTubers chose this, nor do I think they really believe what they were saying, because you'd have to be on some goddamn idiot juice to think that that was a good idea. Obviously, this is just inviting everyone in the community to throw tomatoes at you and scream, "Boo, boo, you stink." Like, it is a terrible statement from them, and it the obvious big problem here, one that Doki Bird also had to call attention to, is that it seems Niji Sanji seemingly shared confidential information with these parties that are unrelated to the issues, which could potentially include her medical information. Which is fucking illegal. You can't do that. You can't just share this personal information. You can't break NDAs, and you certainly can't share sensitive medical information. There's protections in place for that. That's a highly illegal thing to do. Meanwhile, goofballs at fucking Niji Sanji here were real loosey-goosey with Doki Bird's information. Confidential information, it seems. So I'll go ahead and play the clip from Doki Bird when she learned about all of this.
Despite everything that has happened, I was very sad to find out a personal document that was only shown between 3 different parties had to be leaked out, because it was a document I made for my lawyer, and it was a document that was not supposed to be shown anywhere else but to me and my lawyer and to the lawyers on the other side, and we were promised it was not to be shown anywhere else.
Because that's how the process is supposed to work in a fucking legal battle, where you're not sharing confidential information with others unrelated to the fucking legal battle taking place. But I guess Niji Sanji, being the goobers they are, for some reason tried to weaponize that information by giving it to Selin's friends, and most likely, I'll say there's a high chance, forcing them to make that.
Now you're starting to see this, right?
From Niji Sanji.
When I told you guys about like the criminal syndicate, basically they have like those kind of like traditions and how they they do their work and how they functions. Those kind of things that carry over to even till now, even though they are not hands-on those kind of things anymore. Like this kind of tactic is literally like mobster mentality, like style stuff, like defaming people, this and that stuff. Is this is just how entertainment industry like kind of like morph into become. And they really should like change a lot of stuff, to be honest. It's still like behind the scene is still like very like scary things.
Sanji, which is a terrible video that I don't think they wanted to make, because they have to have known it'd be a disaster for them on a personal level. Like their careers are definitely taking a hit because of that. Like, and I feel like they'd know that for sure. But I feel like Niji Sanji was trying to strong-arm them into doing it, because from the sound of things, it looks like anyone that signs with Niji Sanji is basically just their fucking hostage for the entire time you're with the agency. Dokibird went on Twitter to once again say that it was never supposed to be shown to anyone other than me and the lawyer and any other relevant lawyers. It was a private document with personal information, and then expressed concern, wondering if her medical and hospital records were also released without her consent, since that was also promised to be kept private. She says she's currently talking to her lawyer, and thankfully only her diagnosis and reason for hospital stay was reported without further private info being disclosed. So that's currently where everything's at right now, and Niji Sanji is bleeding out. So much so that the CEO made his own little YouTuber apology video, which is trash. I was going to play you clips from his apology video, but with Niji Sanji, you never really know what stupid shit they're gonna do, so I didn't want to risk getting a strike on it for covering it. So instead, I'll just go ahead and refer to the article here. One of the main things that he apologizes for off rip is that after announcing the termination of Selin, there was a notice that was published saying that the impact this would have on the company's performance would be negligible. And he said that this was a misunderstanding, and they used
even nowadays it's
word
still
choice
very
for
negligible,
it, and
huh?
recognizes that Selin was integral to the growth of Niji Sanji English branch. And really the whole thing more just seems like a statement to investors, like on a business side of things, as opposed to like a legitimate apology for anything that happened. To me, it comes across as super corpo soulless suit speak, like, yeah, we terminated Selin, whatever, that's well, who cares? What really matters is the investors not losing faith. So we'll make this video to try and regain that investor faith so we can keep raking in those big bucks. He promises like very vague things about change is coming, we need better systems in place, that we're working towards this and that, but none of it really comes across as sincere, especially considering that if you really wanted to make a good faith, like strong stance, like we need to change, start with monetarily. It's now come out that your talent gets fucked financially when it comes to their split on like merch sales and things like that. If you really want to make a good faith, like convincing, compelling argument that you're going to change, start there. I would like to see that, because you can easily...
I can't believe what he said, because here's the thing, like, Moist Critical do run the agency company. Yes, he does run the agency company, so he knows ins and out about the fairness of trying to, like, not screw over the persons that were under you and stuff.
Showcase that one. It's going to be hard to convey to the public that you're changing things behind the scenes, because again, that's behind the scenes. It's always going to be something that the public's never going to be fully privy to. But your merch split with your talent, that is public. If you allow your VTubers to talk about it, they can say, hey, look, we just got raised up a ton of percentage when it comes to our merch split, and we really appreciate that. It's a sign of goodwill, you know, and maybe things will get better in the future elsewhere too. But personally, I don't see them making any meaningful changes to company culture or the way things happen behind the doors or anything monetarily. I just don't see them really doing a whole lot to improve. And I think the community feels largely the same way, which is why Niji Sanji continues to fester here. Now, while they haven't fully gone under or anything of that nature, they are definitely trending in a downward death spiral at the moment, where it seems more graduations are on the way, most likely, or perhaps even terminations to more talent. And the public is not super excited about the future of Niji Sanji English branch. Now, the English branch of Niji Sanji is just one component of it. Its biggest is still the Japanese sector. But I have to imagine if the English branch flounders and fails, it's going to be bad for Niji Sanji as a whole, because it still was a sizable chunk of their company, and that's going to affect that side of things too. So it's definitely something that they wouldn't like to see go away, I would imagine. But it's looking like it's going towards that direction. So anyway, I just wanted to cover this a bit because it is a huge deal, and one of those situations where a company that was really at a point where it was probably too big to fail is starting to fail, truly by their own mismanagement, own problems, and own toxicity. And I'm wishing the absolute best for Doki Bird going forward. Hopefully the legal process she's engaged in is smooth and an easy W, and hopefully her streams continue to pop off. So best of luck to her, and yeah, that's really about it. So yeah. Have you seen the Scentbird CEO? She does a podcast with her eyes closed to talk to spirits and said Hitler wasn't bad. What? The Scentbird CEO does this. Wait, I know Scentbird. Yeah, wait, you're right. The Scentbird CEO claims to be a spiritual medium. Or, sorry, not a spiritual medium, a spiritual guru. The co-founder of the Netflix for Fragrance, Mariah Nuraslamova, has been moonlighting as a spiritual influencer. Comments on extraterrestrials, The Matrix, and Hitler have recently attracted negative attention. Your teeth are not randomly crooked, there is a spiritual meaning. Every little aspect of the tooth is a map, right? This sounds beautifully unhinged. You see they found a cave on the moon? Oh, we got moon troglodytes now? That's pretty cool. This is I can't find the clips anywhere else right now, so right now, completely reliant on the YouTubers here to bless me with this info. I want to see these readings.
Version of the Matrix will be the default one. The 5th version of the Matrix is actively being incubated, and according to Maria, it's showing really good signs and it's looking promising.
Now there is a new version of the Matrix that's being currently incubated. The 5th version of the Matrix.
Matrix 5?
That one is showing signs of really good promise, so...
Maria mentions having a direct...
Wait a minute, I need to go to our website. There's a Matrix 5 dropping? This is Maria. She is the CEO of Scentbird, which I think many of you have probably seen through YouTube sponsors. They were pretty big on influencer marketing, from what I recall.
Let's play some of the thing else. Oh, another one?
This YouTuber has just been arrested and is facing 5 years in prison after disturbing a restricted island and violating international law, all to film content and leave this ancient remote tribe a can of Coke. Ladies and gentlemen, we might have a new contender for the Hall of Fame of complete morons.
An American tourist has been arrested for allegedly traveling to a restricted reserve on a remote island and leaving behind a can of Coke as an offering for the world's most isolated tribe to try.
Hi there, Ducky.
Mikhailo Viktorovich Polyakov was arrested in India's Andaman and Nicobar Islands after he allegedly visited a prohibited tribal reserve on North Sentinel Island without authorization.
So apparently we're doing this for content now. Well, that's a nightmare of an island that has for some reason attracted the wildest form of unwanted tourism, now including Mikhailo Polyakov, a 24-year-old American YouTuber known for thrill-seeking adventure vlogs and now for violating international law. He goes by the Neo-Orientalist on YouTube and has a few thousand subscribers and is currently making headlines for illegal illegally landing on the North Sentinel Island, home to the famously uncontacted Sentinelese tribe. You know, the people who've made it extremely clear that they want nothing to do with the outside world, like arrow to the head level of clear.
Tucked away in the picturesque waters of the Bay of Bengal,
yeah,
exists
surprised
a
that
tiny
he
island
managed to
that has
survive.
captured imaginations for centuries. But its beauty as a tropical paradise is not what has garnered attention. Rather, it is the often violent, uncontacted tribe that calls the island home. For most, this island is a window into the past and an opportunity to understand how ancient people lived. But for some, this island has become their final resting place.
Well, what did Polyakov actually do? He showed up to Point Blair, the capital of the Andaman of the Nicobar Islands, with the camera, an inflatable boat, and apparently zero regard for history or laws. On March 29th,
I don't know why. Why there's so many people like doing RL stream doing so many stupid shit? This is like Darwinism in the most hyper form. It's like, why are people this stupid? Like, how? There's a certain level of stupidity people can have. This is beyond. It's like, now there's one in the Philippines, there's one in the India, there's one in Korea, and then there's a few in Japan. Like, holy shit is everywhere. Idiots are everywhere. I'm scared.
He set off solo on his boat, which, by the way, I guess is the YouTube version of Hold My Beer. After a 9-hour journey, he reached the northeastern shore of the North Sentinel Island, ready to go full Columbus, but instead of smallpox and holy crosses, he brought a Diet Coke and a coconut. Not even a full meal. Just a weird snack combo and a whistle. Come on, dude. And with this whistle, he tried to get the tribe's attention. And obviously blowing a whistle at an uncontacted tribe, I guess that's how you get a collaboration invite.
Polyakov spent roughly an hour blowing a whistle from his inflatable boat in hopes of drawing attention to himself, but received no response. He landed on the island for roughly 5 minutes, during which he collected samples, recorded a video, and left behind a can of soda and a coconut as offerings for the Sentinelese tribe.
I feel like the ingredients of a Diet Coke would probably burn a hole in the tribe's stomach, man. Like, let's chill here. Let's not leave that for them. But thankfully, he didn't make contact. For his own sake, but also he did collect some sand, film on the beach, and then I guess peaced out like it was some regular beach day. Mission Trespass on Sacred Land is complete, but here's the plot twist. Back on the mainland, some local fishermen saw what he was up to and reported him. Polyakov was arrested on March 31st, now faces multiple charges, including violation under India's Foreigners Act and tribal protection laws. If convicted, he's looking at up to 5 years in Indian prison, which is a pretty steep price for a simple vlog title. Why are some influencers committing crimes in countries where you would never ever want to go to prison in? I mean, we just covered Vitaly. Why would you ever break laws in countries that have prisons that look like this? But also, honestly, the amount of time sounds a little short for what he actually did. Because let's be real, what he did wasn't brave. This is just incredibly reckless. Indigenous groups, legal experts, and common sense all agree that you don't mess with the Sentinelese. Not because they're scary, well, they are as well, but because we are. We carry diseases that they've never been exposed to. Contact could wipe them out, like it did so many other tribes throughout history. But you know, for the sake of this video, let's put all the dangers to the tribe aside. Let's put all the international law to the side. Let's just say this is an extremely stupid move considering how multiple journalists, missionaries, and many more have died for attempting to do this exact thing. So for those who don't know, let me break down what this island is and why this tribe has a history of people needing to stay far away from it. All right, picture this, a beautiful tropical island straight out of a travel brochure, white sand, blue water, lush jungle, and if you step foot on it, you might get hit with an arrow.
Hey, you're that IRL streamer, aren't you? I used to do content like you until I took a 2.5 meter long arrow to the knee.
This is exactly where all those Skyrim guards went. So, welcome to North Sentinel Island, where the local vibe is no visitors ever. It's home to the Sentinelese, possibly the last uncontacted tribe on Earth, and when I say uncontacted, I mean they've been ghosting humanity for thousands of years. These people are the real-life version of hardcore Minecraft. They're like that tribal YouTube channel that went like super viral for building crazy stuff with mud.
It's fake, by the way.
The excavators, because, you know, they were also exposed for that. So, while neighboring islands have been colonized, developed, and turned into places where where you can probably get Wi-Fi and an overpriced smoothie, North Sentinel Island have stayed essentially stuck in time on purpose. They basically told the rest of the world that they don't want any technology. No thank you. The first time they were caught on camera, you could literally see them try to put arrows through the people filming.
At last, the first glimpse of the Sentinelese. This tribe believes in total isolation. It will not tolerate a stranger.
As is obvious in the footage, the tribe had no interest in making friends and rather buried half of the gifts they'd been given before shooting arrows toward the film crew.
A member of our film unit was wounded by one of the many arrows, each 2.5 meters long.
So either Mikhailo saw this, did his research beforehand and said, screw it, a 2.5 meter arrow, that ain't that bad, or he didn't prepare for this trip at all. But I have a feeling he kind of did, because he showed up with a coconut. And we will learn later on that the only contact that humans have had that has been a positive contact with this island has been because they were bribing them with coconuts. But if it was up to me, one simple Google search would that would make my mind up. I wouldn't go. Took me 15 seconds to realize I would never want to go to that island. But I've also realized that there's a very big difference in how normal people operate and think compared to the people that I normally cover here on this channel. There's a very big difference. Well, the first real sighting of this island came in 1771 when a British ship spotted flickers of fire on shore, probably cooking dinner or prepping the arrows. Hard to say. But things got real in the 1890s when an escaped prisoner washed up on the island. Search parties went to look for him and they found him full of arrows. Definitely not a warm welcome. That's more like get off my lawn, but in a really intense way. Fast forward to the 1960s, Indian anthropologists decided to go play National Geographic and roll up with boats full of gifts, coconuts, metal tools, plastic stuff, basically just this weird early version of an Amazon delivery. First visit, nobody home. The tribe, I guess, just dipped into the jungle, left their huts, fires, and food behind like you weren't invited. But then came this rare moment of success in the 90s, where an anthropologist named Madhumala Chattopadhyay oh no. When an anthropologist named joined the crew. First woman to try, by the way, and the team floated coconuts towards the beach. And the Sentinelese actually came out to grab them. I mean, one guy even checked out the boat like he was browsing a used car lot. So that was cool because it was calm, peaceful, no one got stabbed. Great. But the next visit, things escalated. Because since 1996, it's been straight up illegal to go anywhere near this North Sentinel Island. The law says don't go within 3 nautical miles unless you're trying to get featured in some news headline saying tourist impaled by dozens of arrows on this remote island. And that's exactly what happened to some fishermen.
2 men aged 48 and 52 were fishing for mud crabs near the island. However, the pair got so drunk that while sleeping, the anchor of the boat, which was a rock tied to a rope, fell apart and drifted the men toward North Sentinel. The following morning, fellow fishermen said they tried to shout at the men and warn them that they were in danger. However, they did not respond. They were probably drunk, and the boat drifted into the shallows where they were attacked and killed.
Yeah, that's a rough fishing spot. You go out to fish and get a little drunk, and you end up in the worst possible spot ever. But recently, this also happened to another American tourist in 2018. Enter John Allen Cho, a 26-year-old missionary adventurer, and how do I put it? A guy with a terrible plan. Because I guess he hired a fisherman to smuggle him to the island because he wanted to convert the Sentinelese to Christianity, which is a very bold move. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised the Jehovah's Witness hasn't tried this yet, but I guess that just goes to show you that some front lawns can't even be passed by a Jehovah's Witness. But this guy actually wrote in his diary, "My name is John, I love you and Jesus loves you," and the Sentinelese were like, "Cool story, here's an arrow." Apparently even his Bible was hit with an arrow, and according to the people from his mission, this wasn't like John just got up and decided to do this on a whim. He tried to prepare for this.
Although, according to the head of the mission he was working for, John was significantly more prepared. All Chow's decisions, including his studies of sports science and training and working as a wilderness emergency medical technician, and classes he took in linguistics and cultural anthropology, were in preparation to share Jesus with the North Sentinelese. He was very well prepared for this moment.
So he was as prepped for this as a person, I
Not
guess.
prepared enough. You should wear Iron Man suit
Almost
going
like
there.
this shouldn't be attempted no matter what you try to do. The actual breakdown of what happened to John happened over 3 days. Day 1, he paddled over in a kayak carrying fish, gifts, and a Bible. When he got near the beach, the Sentinelese shot arrows at him, including one from a kid that nailed his waterproof Bible. And listen, if a child shoots an arrow through your scripture, that's probably your divine sign to turn around. But did Chow leave? No, of course not. He tried again. This time he wrote in his journal, "God, if you want me to be killed, so be it." Dude, if you believe in God, you can also argue that God gave you a brain to avoid this. But on day 3, the fisherman watched from a distance as the Sentinelese dragged his body across the sand and buried it. John Allen Cho was killed, just like nearly every person before him who tried to enter this island without permission. So why all the secrecy? Why the arrows? Well, again, beyond protecting their culture, there's a very real risk. The Sentinelese have zero immunity to common diseases, and even a cold could wipe them out. So yes, going there could literally be fatal to them and to you. I mean, even a Diet Coke could kill them, but I don't know. The point is, none of us know. A random YouTuber like Mikalo for sure doesn't know. And at the end of the day, North Sentinel isn't a lost island. It's not a mystery to solve. It's a community that just wants to be left alone. And honestly, you should kind of respect that. Now let's be real, if the first 5 arrows landing right next to you won't, maybe the 6th will. Now, Mikalo is currently detained in India and is due back in court on April 17th. But honestly, this was the best case scenario for something as stupid as this, because he didn't actually manage to make contact with them. He got arrested instead of dying in some horrific way, and he will likely get to enjoy the rest of his life without it ending with like 80 million arrows in himself. But guys with live streams and cameras, we gotta chill. Whether you're in Japan or Korea, streaming in public in New York City, or just trying to go to an internationally restricted island, respect the boundaries. The Sentinelese, they don't want followers, they're not interested in your clout, and they definitely don't want your can of Diet Coke. But at least he didn't live stream himself driving into a store to simply see what would happen like this guy did. So you can check out that video right here. And other than that, if you're new here, feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.
I forgot like the song the coconut. What? I want to see this.
Gaming, dusted off a little classic meme for you there, is meant to be an entertaining hobby. But for one man in China, it wasn't entertaining at all. In fact, it was a source of misery and dread. And the game in question is not League of Legends, like many of you probably immediately assumed. It's a game called 3 Kingdoms Kill Online. And this one man had been at the top of the leaderboards, wreaking havoc for 15 years in the Crucible. And now he is finally suing the game developer for the trauma he has experienced. What trauma? You're asking yourself, scratching your head. Well, you see, in 3 Kingdoms Kill Online, there is an evil little mechanic at play where you can disrespect your opponents by throwing eggs and sandals at them. And you see, this gamer, for 15 years, suffered at the hands of these heathens throwing eggs and sandals at him, and he said it's been taking a huge toll on his life, ruining his self-esteem, and calculates that he has been slapped by virtual eggs and sandals over 4,800 times in just the last year alone. Now, I'm sure all of us have been through traumatic experiences, but we can all agree nothing even comes close to what this poor soul has gone through. I can't even imagine 15 years of virtual egg and sandal slaps. My God, I can only wish him the best on his legal pursuit.
Imagine living entire life playing a game, people keep really typing you GG easy. he might die. Thank God he didn't play League.
So the information I get comes from China and gets translated, and it's not the most active updates in the case, but I am so captivated by this idea that this guy is suffering because people troll him at the end of the games by spamming egg and sandal emotes. That is unbelievable to me, and I'm so curious to see how it shakes out, because apparently he's got a real case with this. So let me give you a little bit more of the basics. I'll cover them on stream, and I'll come in with a little bit more I've learned. I read a story, I think it was 2 days ago. A man in China is suing a game developer, I can't remember who, I think it's Kingdom Clash, because he said that over the course of his thousands of hours playing Kingdom Clash, he has had his life ruined by players he beats in the game throwing bananas at him. And he said that every time he gets hit with a banana, it lowers his self-esteem to the point that his life is not the same. It is amazing. Let me pull this up for you. Man sues gaming company after being virtually slapped 4,800 times in multiplayer game. Self-esteem hammered. I can already just imagine him tossing and turning. I won my game. But Shadow Slayer 5 won the war. He threw a banana at me. Fuck. What did I do?
PTSD.
Wow. I closed my eyes for a second and I have 2 different auto-playing ads. A Chinese gamer has taken legal action against the gaming company, alleging emotional distress caused by repeated virtual attacks from other players. The man using the pseudonym Kyobin has been an avid player of Three Kingdoms Kill online for the past 15 years and currently holds the game's highest rank. The game, developed by a company based in Hangzhou, was launched in 2009 and is set during China's historic Three Kingdoms period. It allows 4 to 8 players to battle it out in matches that last between 10 to 30 minutes. Kyobin said that after each match he won, opponents would throw virtual items like eggs and straw sandals at his character. These items would trigger animations that resembled facial slaps, which he described as emotionally damaging and humiliating. He calculated he had been hit more than 4,800 times in the past 6 months alone. And the other article I read, it was bananas. Was it a different translation? Is it eggs or bananas? Because that makes a huge difference. Banana's got a lot more girth to it. It's going to hurt a lot more and feel worse on the receiving end of the virtual slapping. He believes the repeated attacks were a way for other players to vent frustration after losing, with one incident lasting over 90 seconds. Every time I am hit with eggs, I feel my self-esteem is harmed and I get depressed, he said, adding that the public nature of these virtual slaps made him feel insulted in front of other players. Honestly, if it was me, I'd lean into that. I don't know if there's game chat, but if I saw him in my lobby, he's the top-ranked player, and I'd know it, I'd absolutely just lay into it like, you should feel shame. You're getting slapped with eggs. I don't want to play with you again. You're getting slapped with eggs. I don't respect you. I can't imagine, rather. I guess I don't know for sure. I cannot imagine a judge seeing this and being like, wow, this guy deserves compensation. 4,800 eggs and sandals? Where have we gone so wrong in society? The offensive items can either be acquired for free through gameplay or purchased at a low cost, something Kyobin claims the gaming company benefits from. He accused the developers of tolerating and allowing such behavior, saying they profit from it while doing little to address the issue. Rather, the items are there for the sake of like a little bit of in-game trolling. Despite reaching out to customer service multiple times, Kyobin said his concerns were ignored, which prompted him to file a lawsuit seeking compensation. The exact amount he is demanding has not been disclosed. He should ask for 100 mil. Absolutely ask for 100 mil. Shoot for the stars. The incident has drawn mixed reactions online, with some users expressing sympathy. Who in the fuck would possibly express sympathy at some guy whining and suing because he's getting slapped with eggs and sandals in a virtual mobile game? You've got to be such a weirdo loser to be like, my heart breaks for you, Kyobin. This is bad. This is bad. No matter how strong a player is, they can still be crushed by eggs and straw sandals, one player wrote. Others shared similar stories of in-game bullying, with one user saying, I was hunted by other players for a month in another game. Every time I logged on, I was attacked and killed, which caused me significant trauma. I can't play my mobile games without the fear of eggs looming. March 31st, spokesperson from the company acknowledged the issue and said the items were originally part of the game's design, but added that restrictions would be introduced. No, don't be a bitch. They also confirmed that the company will cooperate with the court as the case moves forward. Come on. A lawyer pointed out that the use of eggs and straw sandals is inherently insulting and said that it's the company's responsibility to ensure respectful gaming environment. Well, could I reasonably sue for emotional distress when I lose to Kyobin? It feels bad when I lose. It's causing me significant trauma. Your right is to not be hit with eggs and straw sandals in our game. So that's what it looks like when you get slapped with sandals. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. I can see why it'd take such a toll on him. It's such an interesting case, and it somewhat reminds me of that infamous Twitch lawsuit from a couple years ago, where a gooner tried suing Twitch for like 20 mil because he couldn't stop getting hard and masturbating to female streamers on the platform and accused them of purposefully putting female streamers, like feeding female streamers to him for the sake of getting him addicted to porn. It was a very interesting lawsuit. And while this doesn't share anything in common with like gooning or whatever, like the gooner suit, it just reminds me of just unhinged claims that they actually push forward and try and put real water in. Like that Twitch lawsuit I just mentioned, that was a real thing that he tried. It wasn't like just a complete throwaway toilet paper suit. Like, it was something he actively pursued. And this is another one of those where it is a real case that is going to actually be examined. The whole crux of it is he believes that the game company has a responsibility to protect players from this kind of disrespect and this kind of insults. It should not be providing players with the ability to slap him with eggs and sandals, because it's really hurting his self-esteem and it's making him feel bad. It's making him depressed, as he said. And it seems like he's not the only one that feels that way. There is a sentiment that is expressed here where a lot of people seem to agree, actually. So there is a chance that he actually wins this lawsuit because too many people have slapped him with eggs and sandals in that game, which I just find so interesting. And I'm curious, could this open a can of worms should he win this, where I could start making cases like in something like Fortnite, where they inherently have things built in for the sake of some trolling, like the L dance, or if someone kills me and then cranks a fucking default dance on my corpse, can I come after Epic Games for some trauma that I may have experienced through being embarrassed with these emotes that they have given players access to insult me? You know what I mean? Like, it feels like you could easily make this argument for pretty much any game ever. So I'm very, very interested to see how it all plays out. And I just thought it was so fucking silly about getting slapped with eggs and sandals for 15 years, just being like a magnet for eggs, and then getting really upset, and finally you're just like, enough is enough, I'm taking it to court. I just think it's so good. So I wanted to talk about it a bit. That's it. See ya.
Slap you with an egg and a coconut and also slipper. Oh, I saw that thing again. Spinal scammer thingy.
Gaming.
Oh.
God damn, that's thorough. What is this background? Are we sure we're in a scam center? Is this just maybe a pornography headquarters? Also, when you think of like crime and shit, I don't know if I've seen this one. I've seen a few of Jim Browning's work, but I don't know if I've seen this one.
This building in southwest Delhi holds a dark secret. The building houses Fairmart Travels, an innocent-sounding travel agency, except that it's just a front for a scamming business. And to the rear of the building, in a secret office, there's a room full of scammers. And incredibly, I've been able to see exactly what they do through their own CCTV.
Fuck yeah.
Yes, sir, I can. Yeah, I'm still there. Yep.
So you're lying about that? Are you? What's going on here?
Well, I hope you're kidding about that, man.
What's going on? Hello?
Allow me 1 minute, sir. I'm just checking that for you, okay? Yeah, please stay on the line.
So, wait, hello?
He's calling in for backup.
He calls himself Mark Robinson, but his real name is Chewin. And yes, I'm watching him live on his own CCTV.
Hello?
Hi.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so what's all this about stopped services then when they should be running? I don't get it.
Yeah, sir, you need to go ahead and get it fixed, and there will be a one-time charge, sir, okay?
He's getting nervous.
Why would you charge me when there's nothing wrong? That's quite normal.
No, there are certain technical things that has to be fixed.
Technical things? Go on, try me. I'm quite technical.
I'm sorry, sir, but there will be a charge. If you want, we can fix it. Or if you don't want, I can go out.
He's pretty good. No problem. Just pay it.
I just want to know what's wrong.
We need the diagnosis of the computer problems.
So
pay him.
What's wrong?
Only he knows.
Sure. I'm just a junior level technician. We need to assign the case to the senior level technician.
You're about to see one of the most comprehensive views of the inner workings of one of these scam call centers ever seen on YouTube.
Any chance you saved any of those old Gears of War videos? Did you save any?
But let's start at the beginning. How exactly did I find out that Fairmart Travels were behind this pop-up scam? Like most scammers, they buy fake and malicious adverts. These adverts claim that your computer has a virus and it will lock your PC.
I remember the first time I encountered one of these, I panicked.
You to ring the number which is shown on screen. And
I believe it was on RedTube,
just
actually.
To close this window. On top of this, a very loud warning will play in the background.
Security message. Your computer has been locked up. Your IP address was used without your knowledge or consent to visit websites that contains identity theft virus.
If you've not encountered anything like this before, you can see how it's possible that some people will phone the number in the hope that they can get rid of what looks like a virus. Of course, there's nothing wrong at all, it's all just to encourage the phone call. And if you watch my channel at all, you'll know that I deliberately phone these numbers.
Nice.
I have my PC set up in a way that if they attempt to scam me, and they usually run a very set script, I will reverse this connection and gain access to the scammer's PC. So when they did try to steal money from me, they described their organisation as iTech Securities. This would turn out to be one of many aliases which Fairmart Travels will use. And the method they used to take these payments was through PayPal. Something
it's incredible how scamming
the scam
has like real businesses.
To the managing director. And when I gained this reverse access,
this full-time scam centers, really impressive shit.
They had CCTV. This would provide a fascinating insight as to how their operation worked and what the layout of the building was. This would prove very useful for identifying who they were. On the basement floors, there were server rooms, a kitchen and a canteen. The CCTV around the main gates of the building showed that there were guards present. This isn't unusual.
Worked with a Fortune 500 bank and we lost almost $1 million to scams.
Exactly what the road and surroundings looked like.
Really? Like the scams are usually like super easily avoidable. Do people at your bank just like click every email they get?
This person,
sexy singles in your area,
is walking around the first floor, and this is to the rear of the premises. But most of the cameras indicated
I know it's mainly old people, but at a bank?
Office building.
How does that happen?
There were lots of people working on desks with computers, and certainly in the main building, on floors 1 to 3, it didn't seem to be that
What's that motivational quote? In business are never done by one person, they're done by a team of people. Steve Jobs. Well, it's almost fitting that Steve Jobs is the motivation for the entire scam center, I guess. Wild.
Were any scammers present? These were real workers doing real jobs.
Thanks to the recent intervention in Xavier.
Travel agency. But there were another 2 floors which were covered by CCTV, which didn't seem to have anything to do with the main office building. There was one of these floors where I was certain that the scammers were.
You keep recommending Script Kid. I said
so. I needed a bit of help. Someone who could photograph the outside of the call center and try and find out where the second building was. So I called on my friend Carl Rock. Like me, Carl exposes scams in India,
Thank you, man.
and I urge you to check out his channel. In the top right-hand corner, you'll see a link to his version of this video. And after Carl shot this footage, I noticed that there was something that appeared on one of the CCTV cameras.
Is it the world's worst bus driver who's blocking the entire fucking road? This looks like a scene out of Mission Impossible where like all the bad guys are gonna storm out and steal the president or something from the fucking cavalcade. Like, what is this? This guy needs to be arrested. Fuck the scammers, let's get this bus driver.
From the CCTV, I could see that there's a roof garden right outside the room that the scammers
I see that
in.
bust.
And lo and behold, right behind the Fairmart building was another building with a roof garden. Fairmart had only recently installed CCTV, and it was during that installation process that the camera was briefly fixed on that roof garden. Eventually, the camera would be turned round to a static position in front of the offices where the scamming took place. So Carl very kindly took a second lot of drone shots of the building behind Fairmart. This is where their scams operated from.
Nice.
This is one of the cleverest but sneakiest ways of disguising the fact that you're a scamming group. If the police ever did raid the main building, they would only find legitimate computers and legitimate offices. And I could see that it was the alleyway between the two buildings that was being used by scammers to move between the legitimate and illegal offices. The people who were employed to run the scams didn't even need to use the front door of the normal office. All very clever. But the CCTV didn't have any audio, but I could see them using remote access software. Here, this scammer is using GoToAssist, and even sometimes the pop-up which would appear on their victims' PCs. But although their CCTV didn't record any audio, they happened to record audio on a different system called Ringba. This is their VoIP provider, which allowed them to use UK and US phone numbers, but it had the advantage where every phone call they received was recorded.
Nice!
You would have good reason to wonder why a travel company would run a campaign called USA Blue Screen of Death or UK Adult. Because they recorded all of their calls, I could listen in on some of them.
For calling support, my name is Alwyn. How can I help you today?
You're calling the support and this call is from Alvin.
What were you doing on the computer when you got this message?
Is this edit? Oh, we can only hear
Lower down the volume of your computer.
Thanks for 5 gifts.
So since I had all of their audio files, all I needed to do was take the timestamps of the audio and match them to the timestamps of video. This would allow me to see other people being scammed.
God damn, that's thorough. What is this background? Are we sure we're in a scam center? Is this just maybe a pornography headquarters? Also, when you think of like crime and shit, the movies have you believe that everyone's like really cool looking, like trench coats and sunglasses, and then you actually look into like a crime ring and everyone just looks like a bunch of nerds. Like, I feel like after this, they went home and just started rolling D20 dice and having a blast. Just committing crime by day and D&D by night, huh, boys?
Thanks for your call. It's speaking with Luke. Can we help you?
Hi. I was just trying to watch...
Both ears are needed for the audio? Well, that's rough because this is broken. Oh well. Needs to be some cheese house in the Prime Blitzed.
It's telling me it's locked and I have to call security.
Okay, and what were you trying to do on this computer?
I'm watching movies.
Is this your personal computer or it's a family computer?
It's a work computer.
It's work computer, okay. So you can
turn on mono audio in Windows. I'm not Jim Browning. Your hacker man lingo and jargon means nothing to me.
Do you have any IT guy?
I don't know how to do that.
Sorry?
Nor do I want to learn.
Do you have any IT guy in your work, in your office?
No, I'm at home now.
He's the research hunter and fun guy. Not yet, fun guy.
Okay, because there will be a one-time charge if we fix something online.
Good news. That's good news.
If there's any software issues, there will be a one-time charge.
Glad it healed.
So, will that fine for you? Are you the authorized for that?
Well, why would my computer be locked in the first place? I was just watching movies.
Thanks,
There could be some viruses which download from that online movies website.
Oh.
Yes. So I have to check the computer I have to check the computer, and according to that there would be a one-time charge that would be the diagnose charge, and if there is any other issues they will be charged according to that.
Why is he sniffing his fingers?
The minimum which is diagnosed
smells like my asshole.
Will cost around £50.
And if I don't have £50 to pay?
Then you can take this computer to local store or a local technician.
No. Alright, thank you.
Okay, fine.
That was easy. Thanks, Reset Hypnotoad.
And because I could see what the supervisor was monitoring, I could also see the scammers' names. The green colour meant that someone was engaged in a call with a victim, and the orange colour indicated that a person was waiting on a call. And, depending on the day and the time, there could be anything from just 2 agents to 22 on the floor.
Thanks for the resub, Lexine.
And when they answer their phone, they would of course never give their real name. They would always give a fake English-sounding one. So I thought I would phone them up and try and work out which name they would use. And
this guy's all alone
on the CCTV.
But I'm hoping I can reach that guy, whatever his name is.
We got him, pussy. Hit him with some Xbox Live shit. Go wild on him.
So this guy called himself Jerry. But of course, when the office was busier, it was much harder to work out who I was speaking to, so I needed another tactic. I would deliberately change my desktop background to something really obvious.
Now type help me all in one word.
Help me.
And then allow one of their scammers to connect to my PC. And once the scammer had remote access to my computer, I'd simply use their CCTV to see who was looking at the monitor with the purple screen.
That's so smart, holy shit.
Fully connected with you. You can see my
This guy would make the ultimate anime villain.
Yeah, I see that. Right, okay.
Right, so you don't have to worry about anything, sir. You're talking to Windows certified technician, so I'm just gonna find out first of all if anything is wrong on the computer system. So how long have you had this computer, sir? Like how old is this computer?
I think it's only a year old or something.
Okay, just a year old, right?
Just who am I talking to here?
Thanks, Resub Corp.
This is Chris Young, sir. I'm a Windows certified technician.
And so now I knew what the person who called themselves Chris Young looked like.
You might be using... I'm sorry?
Is this Microsoft?
No, sir, it has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with the Microsoft. It's a Windows support. I believe you are using a Windows computer.
Unfortunately, some of the CCTV cameras were set up worse than others, and when I switched to the like of camera 5, it gave a bit of a distorted and black and white view, but it was still enough to see who I was speaking to.
The exact problem going on the computer system, right?
Yeah.
So why you got the number on the computer screen is because when you first bought the computer, the securities of this computer was registered.
But the camera was more than good enough to watch the scammers squirm whenever they were challenged.
I hope you're not breaching Microsoft's copyright here. Because if you put a window up saying Microsoft at the top, you're not Microsoft.
You're thinking that with what you can do, sir. What you can do. What do you want to do? What do you?
Well, I don't know. I think I should be going to.
I'm breaching your.
Thanks for some slime and so straight.
No, I think you're impersonating Microsoft, and I think you're trying to scam people. That's what I think is going on here.
Okay, so now you're in that pod right now, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, you've lied to me about what not stopped showing.
I'm gonna show you all the services, sir.
So the services should be stopped, as you well know.
All the services, everything.
Yeah, some of them should be started, some of them should be running, and some of them should be stopped because they should be started manually. So what are you going to show me here?
I'm not gonna show you anything, sir. You can. This is your computer. You can do whatever you want. Is there anything else you want to ask? Anything else you have any doubt?
Yeah, I want to
insult him.
People.
Insult him. Oh, he should have gone much harder.
Reverse consultations.
There are hundreds of victims of this crime, and I want to do something about
it.
So for the
shirt looks like shit right now, and then just start calling him out.
UK documentary team.
Describe what he's wearing. Pretend to be a god.
Travel to India to confront the owner of this call center, and I've left a link to their video in the description below. By sharing the footage, I'm hoping that more people can be made aware of these scams, and hopefully some will be prevented. If you're a patron of mine, you can already see the first 3 parts of this video unblurred, but for the public YouTube videos, I have to blur some of the details to meet YouTube's privacy policies. In part 2 of this 4-part video series, you're going to see what these scammers do every day, how their shifts work, how they get paid, how they get to and from their offices, and if they're really trusted. And in part 3, we're going to follow the money. It's not the call centre workers who make most of the money, so exactly where does it go? Who's the brains behind the organisation, and is it just one type of scam that they're involved with? Find out in part 3. These videos
this was a lot cooler than I thought.
However, if you would like to support me in my efforts against scammers, here's a link to my Patreon channel.
Nice. Well, fuck it, we'll let it ride. That was a lot more interesting than the other ones I saw. I always love people that bust scammers, but that was pretty fucking cool. That was a different level. I wish he was more mean, though. Like, if I had the ability to go into, like, the scammers' fucking cameras and watch them live, I would absolutely pretend to be, like, an omniscient force, like a fucking god, describing their shit, going over their sins, and just do, like, a, kind of like how a psychic cold reads. I just start doing cold reads on them. Get them on edge. Alright, let me take a pee, little tinkle real quick. Thanks to the resub Yoshi. I'll be right back. Now I'm invested in this call center, like, personally.
In part 1 of this 4-part video series, I showed how Fairmart Travels operated a secret scamming call centre to the rear of their normal premises. Fairmart Travels use pop-up scams to generate calls and revenue. They will require remote access to a victim's computer, but in my case, I was able to
candy cane, Aiden, and hamburger, and the prime chicken
of their computers. And very unusually, I could see that this operation had CCTV. I could see how their scams worked. And in this video, you're going to see how they went about scamming thousands of people in the USA, UK, and Australia. Everyone in this room is a scammer. There are 28 seats, and the area in the corner is for the operations managers. These operations managers facilitate the scams, and they will monitor every PC in this room.
Crispy and resub Bipo and Monray.
The supervisors will see every PC which is switched on in the office. Some of the scammers will waste their time on the likes of websites like 9gag, while others will be looking at the inbound calls, and yet more registering customer information on a database that they call TechnoSpine. And this screen shows them preparing documentation for their victims. They will also keep an eye on the inbound calls. And here's their view of those calls. The ones coloured green are agents engaged in calls, red away from their desks, and yellow sitting waiting.
How much does a scammer get paid?
Also keep
probably fucking nothing.
Management team via Skype.
It all goes to the top level, I bet.
Speaking with Amit Chowan. He's the managing director of Fairmart Travels and the sister company Adrit Technologies, but there'll be much more about him in the next video. But the most important job of the
I was very interesting, but I got bored. Since I still have to like do lots of things, watching all those things at the same time, and I'm actually very tired at the moment too.
Welcome to Inside Games Daily, the only gaming news channel brave enough to say that if you paid for a game, you should be able to play it.
Woo, hold on, Bruce. Slow down. So, hey, I may not be a big, fancy, highfalutin lawyer for Ubisoft, but that sounds an awful lot like complaining to me.
Oh, I like that southern accent you were doing there for a second.
Should be more French, shouldn't it?
Yeah. All right, bad news, guys. More bad news. Players of the Crew, that Ubisoft racing game, filed a class action suit against Ubisoft over the game's shutdown in November of 2024.
Which is pretty awesome. We love to see it. Little activism there. Ubisoft responded in February 2025, and recently Polygon got a hold of that response, dug in there, and found some choice quotes from Ubisoft's lawyers.
Oh man, Ubisoft's lawyers, they must have a great day every day, huh? Waking up every day, saying crazy shit, and then going right back to their office.
Yep, double arm stretch over the head, a little mouthwash, slap on some aftershave. crack the knuckles, sit down and just start bashing out how no one owns anything and they should be grateful that they got to play a Ubisoft game for 6 months.
It's almost exactly what they said. Ubisoft lawyer Stephen A. Marenberg says exactly what you fear and expect from Ubisoft lawyers. Lawrence, you should read the quote. It's great.
After making their purchases, plaintiffs enjoyed access to the crew for years before Ubisoft decided in late 2023 to retire and shut down the servers of the 10-year-old video game. Plaintiffs received the benefit of their bargain and cannot complain now that they were deceived simply because Ubisoft did not then create an offline version of the discontinued video game.
And then they drank their gimlet. And they
big old jug with 3 X's on it.
I know. Boy, oh boy. Ubisoft's offense most commonly claims that the crew's box disclosed that the game required an internet connection and that Ubisoft could revoke access, quote, to one or more specific online features, end quote, with 30 days notice.
There you go. Cut and dry. It was on the box. I mean, this is where it gets mucky because I guess it was. Sure, whatever. The plaintiff's original argument was amended on March 18th, further arguing that the crew's packaging claimed that its digital activation code wouldn't expire until 2099, which kind of implies that the game would be accessible through that runtime.
And so then there are in-game credits, and those are the same as a gift card, which under California law are not allowed to expire. Everyone's credits evaporated when the game shut down, so those expired.
Yep, and out of both of those, they're claiming that some monetary harm was done and that refunds are owed, or at least the Ubisoft has to pay damages. Ubisoft did provide refunds for folks that bought the crew really late into its life cycle, though, or at least that's what they said. It was kind of challenging to find an exact policy about who got a refund and who didn't.
One player even reported a successful PlayStation refund for the game despite buying it in 2015. Okay, all right.
Yeah, I guess PlayStation customer service cut them some slack, but then I found this report from somebody else who intentionally went out and bought a physical copy after Ubisoft had announced the shutdown. They couldn't return the physical copy because they had activated the code, and Ubisoft said that they could only refund games that had been bought from Ubisoft themselves. So essentially the retailer said, we won't take it back. Ubisoft said it was physical, so we won't refund it. And they were stuck with a game they could only play for 2 months after buying it off the store shelf.
What the hell? Okay. California Governor Gavin Newsom signed a law in late 2024 requiring clear labels on selling mere licenses to content as opposed to, quote, unrestricted ownership interest in the digital good.
Yeah, online stores are not allowed to use terms like purchase or buy, which is fair, but it really makes this whole situation as clearly dystopian as it actually is.
So even Valve adjusted by adding a disclaimer to the checkout process on Steam saying, quote, a purchase of a digital product grants a license for the product on Steam. So going back to our report way back when Ubisoft said
I want to
people
take
should
a
be used to not
shower
owning their games.
How live in stream? About 3 hours and 40 minutes is actually way longer than how I managed to hold. Yeah, having video and running behind the scene, and then I'm capable of doing work for longer. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing. But anyhow, I streamed for a long time. I didn't really sleep that long, so I'm really tired at the moment. So I'm gonna take my break, and thank you very much for watching, everyone. And as always, stay healthy, stay safe. Until next time, stay tuned on the next stream. Bye bye.